Hi, this is Mackenzie Aston, one of the stars of the Garbage Pail Kids movie, and you're listening to the Skeleton Crew.
You touched my woman, creep.
No, it was just... Baby, come on, he's just a kid. He's about 12 years old. I'm 14. I'm almost 15.
He's not worth the time it'll take to beat him up. Forget him. Come on, let's go have some fun.
Wish I could help you, baby. But the little creep's gotta be taught a lesson. It's a matter of principle.
Oh, yeah? I think it's just a matter of you liking to see people bleed.
If your teacher says you're bad and sends you to the principal, you can be a garbage pail kid. If your parents say you dress like you should be in a carnival, you can be a garbage pail kid. It's international radical.
This is the Skeleton Crew. It's a matter of principle that you listen. I can't even do this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to imitate that guy. All right. What's up? It's the Skeleton Crew. We are in the dungeon, and it is grosser than ever in here.
It's too gross.
Too gross for the screen. We got, as always, Jamie Jenkins. Hello, Jamie.
Hello, honey. I'm here and ready to go.
Yes, and as you can hear it just peeled back. You can hear the peel back on the show already. You got Matt Wazell.
Matt Wazell. Hey, what's up, fuckers?
Dave Z. What the fuck is up, Dave Z?
Hey, yo.
I'm so glad that Matt didn't patent that.
So, guys, welcome to Banana Laser. We got a fun show, for you guys.
How much would you have charged me per What the Fuck is Up, Dave Z, if you were to patent that?
$250.
$250? I could do that.
About $250.
Make it tree fitty.
I haven't made it a huge, and I've hinted here and there, but as most people I think have figured out, Matt and Dave were kind enough to ask me to join their fine show in the Laser Lounge, so I am the third host in Banana Laser.
You guys are so good together, though. I'm very happy. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thanks. Shit.
Yeah, now I have a reason to listen to Banana Laser.
Damn.
Well, that's what they're banking on.
We had to get a sexy host, finally. Yeah. Somebody who is ripped on the show because, me and Dave with our shirts off, it just doesn't look that good. So,
Whew. Yep.
That will be my continuation into this genre of horror podcasting. So look up horrorphilia.com, go to podcast, Banana Laser, and you should only start listening where I came in. That's the good stuff, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, fuck.
They have they have at least like 4 great shows out of the first 30.
And a few good ones, and mostly shit. I mean, come on, their name is Banana Laser. I mean,
the Saw 6 episode, don't forget that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. With guest host Jamie Jenkins.
And they also did really amazing on their Halloween Rob Zombie 1 and 2 show for some reason. and they did really good on Saw 7 and Saw 3 for some reason.
Yeah.
And there was one Banana Bites that we did way back that was just awesome. It was way better than any other one. I wonder why that was.
And they did 2 really good commentaries also.
Yeah.
Oh, the commentaries. Woo, shit. That's legendary.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's how we knew we had some magic. We just said, shit, let's do a movie commentary. We did Jason Lives, the 3 of us together, and we said, guys, we got something here. And then we ignored it for about a year, and then we finally got together again.
And then he
that was
invited
so
him on,
awesome.
and Alex said, so this is my life now.
Yeah, exactly. He's hating it now. He's regretting it.
Yeah, I'm like, when do we have to record again? You guys do this how often? So guys, this show is very different. This is a Skeleton Crew to remember. A lot of people might be bummed out because they probably...
I know Matt's bummed out.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's this, a certain element that we're going to discuss that really kind of freaks me out, guys.
Exactly. Now, I was thinking that too, man.
Me too, a little.
Here's how you can make this show worth it, guys. If you read the title or whatever, you're probably into it or not. You'll see what they're actually going to do. we're gonna review the Garbage Pail Kids movie on this show. That movie is known as like it's almost like the Troll 2 of I don't even know what genre. What would you call this? Children's movie?
Yeah, this movie is made for 8-year-olds, right? I mean, that's the only way What? Yeah. 8?
I would never let my daughter watch this movie. She's fucking 8.
Dude, all the humor in this thing and just the characters and how they are. I saw this movie when I was 10 years old. I remember it fondly. And even then, I didn't like it. So it has to be for somebody younger than 10 years old, right?
I disagree. We'll get into it, but that's funny because that's what I was thinking as I'm watching it. That was one of the things amazing about this movie is I couldn't classify the demographic as I'm watching it. I'm like,
dude, that's why we're reviewing it.
And we'll get into it later, but that's I don't believe the demographic is 8-year-olds. I think it's something else entirely. It's not that big, but we'll get to it.
That's right. That's the problem. No, but yeah, we're gonna get into it. It's an amazing movie for so many reasons. Like it's just so inappropriate. There's so many things that are insane for a children's movie. I mean, so many aspects and just thought processes and shit like that, and just things that go on. Like you'll never see any of it ever again in a children's movie. It's insane when we break it down and tell you the elements here. If you're not interested in this, you can get interested. All you gotta do is go to YouTube. And this movie is on YouTube. Just type in Garbage Pail Kids the movie, 1987, and it's there. So, you know, if you watch it, then this will take on a whole new meaning. Garbage Pail Kids are cards that came out in 1985. They were parodies of Cabbage Patch Kids. And they basically decided to paint these pictures of Cabbage Patch Kids doing fucked up shit or being fucked up or looking fucked up. Like, whatever it is, it's all fucked up. The most famous one is Atom Bomb. He's on the cover of most shit. He's pressing a button in his hand. His head is exploding. Shit like that. That's just like the iconic. He's like the Mickey Mouse or the Bugs Bunny or the Toxic Avenger of Garbage Pail Kids.
Wait, why wasn't he in the movie then? Shit.
Well, I have so many questions, and that's one of them.
Right, I was going to ask
the characters that they did. It's crazy.
Well, I was going to ask that of Alex, because I figured. Well, because really, the characters that are in this movie, were they put there because they were popular characters, popular cards, or what? Or was it just completely random? I figured you would know, because I don't.
Yeah, it is completely random. There's no real reason. Foul Phil,
Messy Tessie.
Oh, you guys are good.
Wait,
see, I was going to ask.
Like, Alligator was one of my favorite cards.
Yeah, he was actually pretty popular. Yeah.
But I did not like the film version of Alligator. He kind of got on my nerves. But he was one of my favorite cards. But
hey,
some of those made no sense.
Give me those toes. Give me those toes.
How many toes jokes can you put into one movie is what I want to know.
Hey, Dodger, I hate to be a toe.
I think they chose these characters just because they could actually put them on screen. There's so many of these GBK cards that aren't really filmable characters. You know, like you said, the Atom Bomb guy, his head is blowing up.
Right, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's not really something you could put on screen.
Yeah, it's basically they probably went through them and said, well, we could have him walk around, and we could have him walk around, right. And then they were like, well, what could we do with him? What could his thing be? And, well, this one has bad breath. That's easy shit. So we'll do that. That girl throws up. This guy farts. These are easy. Greaser Greg. Greaser Greg's popular. Nat Nerd is... he's memorable, not popular.
He likes to pee, apparently. Right. He's got to pee. It's in his contract to pee every 10 minutes. Otherwise, he's not going to be on screen.
That's the thing. In the card, there's no hint of him peeing whatsoever.
Thank you. Okay. I thought I was remembering that incorrectly, and I didn't feel like digging out my cards to check it. But I thought, and I still have my complete Series 3.
Yeah.
And complete Series 8. And a whole bunch of ones in between. But those are the two that I have the complete series. You have no idea. Dude, I was so crazy about Garbage Pail Kids. Every time we went to the grocery store, I would get like a handful of them.
Wow, that's awesome.
Gum was terrible.
Yep.
It's like, ow, I cut my cheek.
Yeah, just like baseball cards. Same thing. That shitty gum. That fucking hard. Yeah.
But I chewed it anyway because I didn't want to waste it. I was like, I got this gum.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I chewed
Chew
it.
it.
Yeah, this was made by Topps Chewing Gum. I think it's called Topps Chewing Gum or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like baseball cards. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so my history with the Garbage Pail Kids, I got them pretty much right away, I think. They came out in 85, so I was 6, I guess. And, yeah, I had them. I have pictures of me standing there on my front lawn with a pack of Series 3, unopened, of course. Yeah. I was way into them. That was the shit, man. I mean, man, we used to buy them by the... They were 25 cents each for 5-stick pack, one pack, 5 stickers in each one. I used to walk out with 8 packs. It was like the greatest thing in the world. And when you look at them as you're older, like all that shit comes back to you, man. Those classic cards, they're just amazing.
And then you had the cool stuff on the back too. Like on Series 3, they had the wanted posters. And there was actually one that I recreated. My best friend and I, we were both into Garbage Pail Kids, and we both collected them, and we would trade them and stuff. And there was this one wanted poster on the back, and it was for a barber who, in the photo, it showed the barber like with a pair of shears about to chop off someone's head. Or either he had chopped off someone's head.
It was off, yeah.
Okay. And so we were playing around one day and decided to play... this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I'm admitting this. But we decided to play barber. And I was like, hey, look. And so I pretended like I was the guy on the back of the card. And I snapped the shears closed. I only meant to just... like scare her. I didn't mean to actually cut her, but it turns out that I was a little bit closer to her throat than I thought I was.
What?
So I cut her throat just a little bit.
Oh my god!
I nipped it just a little bit, and she did that thing where she started to cry, and then you do that thing like if you're friends at your house and they start to cry, then you're like shh, like you don't want to get in trouble. So I'm like, shh, stop crying. It's not even bleeding that much. Stop crying.
I'm gonna get in trouble. God damn it!
Awesome.
Right, yeah. See, that's great memories right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of almost murdering your childhood friend. Yeah, there you go.
How many inches from the jugular were you?
I was right in the center, like right. If she had an Adam's apple, that's where.
Oh my god, Jamie, you cut right there?
And yeah, but it was just a little bitty nick. It wasn't that much. It was. She really blew it out of proportion.
Okay, where did you put the body? That's why.
Yeah, let's be honest here. Come on.
Right?
She is alive and well. We went camping last month, so everything's.
I'm going to do an internet search right now to make sure she's not dead.
What's the camp in the burning? That's where the fuck they were. That's where they were. Because that's just like the first kill in the burning with the fucking prostitute with the fucking scissor stuff.
She was really reenacting that, yeah.
Yes.
And then this bear came up and it slashed her throat. And, I don't know. Yeah, right, Jamie, you fucking weirdo.
You know what? The back of the cards, let me ask you something, Alex. Was there a situation where, for a certain series, that if you turned the cards over, they would all connect as a puzzle once they were together? Or am I thinking...
Yep. No, you're right.
Yep.
Yes, okay, so my memory is still good with that. Okay.
They made one giant card.
Right, they made one giant... Yes, okay. Was that always, or it was just a certain series?
It started in Series 2.
Okay.
And it was Messy Tessie was the main poster. But they always had, like, multiple ones. Like, I think the other one was, like, that continued on and on. And then they had GPK comic books in the back of the cards. And that was great because it was like, you know how he's described the reason people like sequels of horror movies is because it's an extension of what they already love, and now they get to sort of live it instead of just viewing this one movie. They get to explore that movie through sequels. Like now we're going to get into Haddonfield and go through other places. Now we'll see the hospital. Now we'll see this. Now we're going to see that. It's like the same thing. Like it's an exploration of these characters. Instead of just seeing one image painted of a character, you get to see them interact, and they're always interacting with other Garbage Pail Kids. They weren't really like laugh out loud funny, but they were good. They were solid. You never felt that was a waste of time reading that. like Jamie said, they had wanted posters, they had awards, they had a lot of stuff. So it was a whole thing with Garbage Pail Kids. Parents were outraged. They were banned in schools. They were that crazy, and that made people love them even more. You know, the more everybody else hated them, the more you were like, yeah, that's our shit, man, and fuck that. Let's hear it. No, let's not show them. Here, do you have another Joe Blow? Do you have another, fucking Humongous? You know, just like crazy stuff. And it was
What did he have, big balls?
Sorry, that's funny.
Nah, he was a guy on top of the Empire State Building swatting at airplanes, but he was like a...
Oh, like King Kong? Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, I know them all. I just don't know their names. But anytime you describe one, I definitely know it.
And Alex, I know you have them too. Like now, out of the bubblegum machine, you can get the little figurines. And I know you have some because I had... No, or was it... Maybe they're not out of the bubblegum machine. But anyway, I don't... Anyway,
no, I don't think they came out of there.
But I just recently... within the last year, got some, and I took a picture and sent it to you, and then you took a picture of yours and sent it back to me, and neither of us knew that the other one had them, but I was just like, look what I just got.
Yeah, I was so happy when he sent that. People are going to be like weirded out by this, but I have one of the premier collections in the world of Garbage Pail Kids. Yeah, I have every single one ever made. See, they had 15 series in the 80s. From 85 to 88, they made 15 series of them, and then they got so much heat that they just had to stop, and they were sued by Cabbage Patch Kids. They had to change their design and everything in Series 10.
Really? Huh.
Wow, took them long enough. Series 10, jeez.
Yeah, but as you can see, they knocked out 15 in 3 years, so obviously they were cranking them out, you know. So after the first year and a half. Cabbage Patch Kids sued them and said you cannot just redo our stuff and put your gross shit on it. And then they said, well, we already paid a lot of money for these guys to paint the next 2 or 3 series, so you got to let us put those out and then we'll stop. And they said, okay, fine. So they put out a couple more series, and then they changed the design after that. They were still good, because back then things were still good with, a lot of ideas were coming out in the 80s, and it was solid. It just didn't look the same, but it was solid.
You think Sour Patch Kids got sued too?
They did?
I'm asking, do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
The answer's right in there. I mean, shit, that's just as much of a rip as...
But they don't look like them. Like, the Garbage Pail Kids really look like those fucking Cabbage Patch dolls and shit.
Yeah, they were literally, that's what they were.
Especially the one that was a baby. Completely does.
Foul Phil?
Yeah, was that his name in the movie? The baby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. Are you my mommy?
My tummy hurts!
So annoying.
What did you eat?
Everything! That'll do it all right. Oh, these fucking voices. Wait till we get into this movie. I can't wait. So yeah, I got them. I got shit that you wouldn't believe. They made tons of merchandise. They made a movie like we're going to talk about. They have a cartoon! There's a cartoon of this.
Really?
What?
I had no idea.
Is it any good?
It's about the same level as any Saturday morning cartoon that was a generic cartoon.
So the humor wasn't the way it was in this movie. It was more...
Oh, no.
Okay, it was more for... That would actually be more targeted to an 8-year-old.
Yeah. Parents wouldn't flip over that. This movie was so insane... Or I don't even know what it was. I don't know what the fuck happened with the trailer. I don't know what it actually was. But parents were so outraged that they were making a movie that they actually protested and the shit got taken off of commercials.
Wow.
They couldn't even advertise. So the movie bombed.
Yes, that had nothing to do with the quality of the film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course.
I went to see it, though. I should shut my mouth, because I went to see it.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if I did. I might have. I don't even remember. All I know is that my dad, went to like I said, Palmer Video. He copied a VHS tape onto another one, and that's what I had my whole life, man.
Nice.
So this movie, I'm so into Garbage Pail Kids that I would say I watched this movie, I think, every year of my life, and sometimes 2 times in a year, sometimes more, from age 8 to today.
What?
Wow.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, hold
That
on.
much? Every year?
Every year, I think.
I can see it as a child. Now, let's say... What?
You
Pass.
Well, no. Let me finish. I'm not ripping it apart at all, because as you'll see by the end of it, I'm not. But what I was getting at was, as you got older, when did you start partying? What age?
Actually, basically 21. When I was able to really go get it is when I really got into drinking.
Okay, so let's just say since the age of 21, when you did watch it, did you do it sober, or did you just, suck it down?
Yeah.
Dude, I'll be honest with you, there's not much I did sober. So
Fair enough. Right. I should have known better. Right, okay, all right.
I'll be honest with you, man. There's not too many sober moments in movie watching for me. But, like I said, I've said on other shows, I don't watch movies like people do, Like, people, I thought I did. But then I hear people watch fucking horror movies every single day and shit like that. And, oh my God, I'm not even close to that.
Nope.
No, not even close. So, it's not that I don't have time. I'm not making like I'm way busy and everybody else is a loser. I just don't. I don't know. I do other things, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, whatever.
I just don't watch movies that often. Yeah. But yeah. So I don't know. So that's my history with it. So Matt and Dave, did you go through the GPK craze, at least card wise, when you were you were all the same age. Dave's a little older, but he's 40 because I played that clip.
A little.
That's right.
Well, I'm in my 40s, and
I'm a pretty simple guy.
I'm a pretty simple guy. I'm in my 40s, love horror movies, and no, I casually like the cards a little bit. I didn't ever really go out and buy them, but when they came into my realm from my older brother or something like that, I always liked them. And I ended up having a couple posters, I think, which led to me wanting to rent this movie. And I think that was the apex of my, once I saw the movie, then I was like, all right, I'm kind of done with these Garbage Pail Kids things. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. So I wasn't like a hardcore fan, but, I had friends who were really into it and stuff like that. So I've had exposure.
And just to clarify, I did collect them when I was a kid, but I think my parents threw the bulk of them out as I got older. Yeah. So I didn't really think about Garbage Pail Kids, and then in 91, my cousin was way into them. He got, he had like 80 of them or whatever. He gave me like 40. And then we put them in a Trapper Keeper, forgot about them for another, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I still watched the movie, but didn't really do much because you couldn't get the cards. And then the beauty of the internet happened, and then shit, man, people are selling them left and right, and you could easily get whatever you want.
I a few years ago bought a couple of lots of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was series that I didn't have a lot of, so that was exciting.
I had so many that I literally gave them away to people, and they were able to create full sets from them.
Jesus.
Like, I had hundreds.
Well, I mean, like, by the time, okay, like, for instance, with, like, Series 3, which is the one that is the biggest for me, and that's the one I know the most of and is, like, nearest and dearest to my heart. And with that one, by the time I actually collected the entire series, I can't even tell you how many packs I had to buy because you kept getting repeats, And I did have my best friend, and so we would, we could trade off, and that helped. But you still, every time you get a new pack and then you open it and you're like, damn it! This one again?
Yep. And it was always fucking Joe Blow. Like, everybody has card 84 A and B, and Joe Blow fucking... I tell you, it's just a kid standing there with his arms out with a patch over his eye blowing a bubble. And it was a parody of Bazooka Joe, but Bazooka Gum is what was in those cards, so that's why they just, hooked them up with that card. And they must have printed, they said, okay, we'll do that, but you gotta print the most. For every card printed, I want 3 of Bazooka Joe printed, or Joe Blow printed.
Damn.
And his other name was Rod Wad.
And that's another thing I love about them is the alternate names. Because you couldn't just have the A card, you had to have the B card too. And it wasn't complete if you didn't have, both of them. Oh, and then they also had the one card that had the checklist on the back too.
Yeah.
That I would check them off. And I remember I was such a geek. I was so excited to be able to check off a card.
Wow.
So when you say A and B cards, you mean there's an A card with one name and a B card with the same picture but a different
right.
funny name? Okay.
Yes.
All right,
I
gotcha.
remember that now, and I remember it kind of pissed me off. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I've seen this before, and it was a different name. What is this shit?
That's what I
there,
thought,
there
Dave.
was like
Yeah.
Eerie Eric,
Yeah.
and what was Eerie Eric's?
Eerie Eric is Berserk Kirk.
Yeah, and I always loved that one too because he was a little werewolf, and so I was crazy.
Berserker.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, let's get back into horror. They had all horror Garbage Pail Kids. Like, Garbage Pail Kids were, like, every horror character you can almost think of is a Garbage Pail Kid.
That's true, yeah.
The first Garbage Pail Kid ever, number 1, is Nasty Nick, Evil Eddie, and he's a vampire drinking blood out of a Barbie doll's neck. There's some misprints, like there's a semicolon, no number, and that thing is worth $200 for the one card, if you have that.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
See, that was why I wasn't into them as much as the baseball cards, because the Garbage Pail Kids, which I thought were cool, and they were passed around classes, and I liked them and stuff, but I was more into buying the baseball cards because there was that big promise of money when you were a kid. It swept the nation at that time. Like, I recall, like, it was a big thing. Everybody was like, oh yeah, get this card, it's going to be worth big money someday. Because I think our parents, that was the big thing. If your parents would have saved their baseball cards, they would be sitting on loads of money. So now, you guys have to do it. So, I think the Garbage Pail Kids, I think like 8 came in a pack. Whatever it was like maybe half of what you got when you bought a baseball cards, And baseball cards had that promise of money in the future. I mean, it was ridiculous. It ended up being that nobody made dick because it got so popular that we all thought we were making the smart investment. I fucking took this 1988 Don Russ fucking baseball card set with me through half the country. I paid $20 for it in 1988. Oh, I had the Griffey rookie, and they had this and they had that. Hold on to all this shit. I carried that thing around. Finally, close to my 40s, I fucking sold it, and I got $20 for it.
No, it was just saving your place. That was
So worth it.
That was like a non-interest bearing savings account. Is what.
Right, yeah.
Completely, and you're waiting. You're waiting for the payoff and waiting. Finally, it got to the point. What the fuck am I doing? I'm taking these cards every time I move and go to a different state. And this, you know what? Fuck you. Here, just give me my money back. Luckily, I didn't lose out. But we had that big promise when we were kids. Hang on to these cards, guys.
Shit.
They're gonna be worth big money. Get as many Griffey rookies and this as you can, and Sheffield. I remember all this shit. Get these cards. So that's why I like the Garbage Pail Kids. But when it came, to put my money where my mouth is, I was buying the baseball cards, and
Dude,
I didn't even
big
watch
mistake.
baseball. Right.
Big mistake, man. You literally would have made tons more money on Garbage Pail Kids because, like, literally, those are 5 cents each. And if you sold an entire set of series like 11 right now, you would make $62.
Shit, I could use it right now. Son of a-
Exactly, dude. You made the complete wrong decision back then.
Right? See? Yeah. I let everybody talk me into it. Because that's, and I think that was the reason. Because that was the big thing. Because those cards are worth big bucks from the 40s and the 50s and whatnot. When you were an 80s kid and you heard about your parents, they should have held on to this and the Mickey Mantle and this. And they would have had money. So I guess we were supposed to learn from their mistakes and invest in these cards. Well, apparently everybody had that idea. So in other words, shit. But yeah, Garbage Pail Kids. Who would have thought?
Alex, did you ever peel your stickers off and use them as stickers? Or did you leave them on the card? I did a few in the beginning, and then I was
You realize that they're gone now?
And then I realized, don't do that. So then I stopped doing it, but there were,
Yeah, I had Messy Tessie on my pool filter. So Garbage Pail Kids disappeared in 1991 officially. 88, but they were like in stores till like 91. Then they were gone from corner stores pretty much. Came back in 2004 after the big internet resurgence in like 99, 2000. They started an all new series, and they have been going and still going now. And I would say 80% of them absolutely suck.
Yeah, I got some of the first new ones, and they weren't very good, and so I just kind of stopped.
Oh, they're bad.
They
Very
weren't.
bad.
They weren't
Really?
good at all.
Yeah, I made this video showing all the good ones in the recent days, but that's a whole nother story we don't have time for. So we'll be right back with the Garbage Pail Kids movie review. Remember, guys, if you have no interest, just stop the show, go to YouTube, watch the movie.
See you later.
Yeah, and catch a buzz. I strongly recommend. Indulge in whatever you like to indulge in and watch it. It makes the experience that much better. And then listen to this show with the same buzz, and there you go.
Yeah, mainline something. Yeah, shoot up, snort up, the most hardcore drugs you got.
Just don't eat everything.
See, I think about weird stuff. Like, what would happen if E.T. and Mr. T had a baby? Well, you'd get Mr. E.T., wouldn't you? And I think he'd sound a little something like this. Ah, pity fool who doesn't phone home.
Oh, I wouldn't want to be Mr. T right now.
People are or are not passionate about classic horror, like the 30s and 40s thing we did last October for the whole month of Halloween, which was some of my favorite stuff. And I just listened to Ryan Lewis. He did a show on Grave Shift Radio called Two Frankensteins and a Bride, or A Bride and Two Frankensteins. One of those two. And I just heard it today. And he said something really nice. He said, when you guys did that really made me want to review The Bride of Frankenstein. That is really great. And, there's a few people who really dig that whole thing that we're doing. Jamie, I don't know if you know this, but the only way to get these movies in the old days was the legacy collections, where you buy Frankenstein, then you buy Dracula, then you buy Mummy, then you buy Invisible Man, then you buy Creature in Black Lagoon, then you buy the Wolfman. And when you buy all these separate monsters, it has all of their sequels in this box set for each one of the people. Mm-hmm. Now, these were out of print for years, and they're out of print, so they're really rare, and if you went to buy them, they were like $80 if you went to buy them anywhere else. So now they reissued all of them. Well, not all of them. They just reissued Frankenstein and Dracula. So now you could buy those again in Walmart for $20 each.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's cool.
They're only on DVD, believe it or not. Like, what the fuck?
Aw. That's depressing.
What are you going to sell me next? A fucking beeper? Like, okay, guys. We have car phones. Who wants a car phone? We got the DVD of the Monsters Legacy Collection. We got beepers over here, car phones over here, and...
Come get this Polaroid.
Yeah, yeah. Polaroid cameras. You can take a picture and it develops just like that. No more waiting in line. Like, come on, guys. Who is still making DVDs? I understand that when indie movies come out, they have those $10 movies that always come out in Walmart, they gotta be on DVD, I guess. It saves money, I guess. And plus you have a broader audience. But I don't even know how that's... Who the fuck does not own a Blu-ray player? Tell me that!
I don't think I know anyone who doesn't, but I'm sure there are people out there, I don't know.
Why don't
Some people are reluctant to make the change. Maybe they have a huge library and then they don't want to. But I mean, the thing is, even with a Blu-ray player, if you upgrade to Blu-ray, you can still watch your DVDs. It's not going to hurt anything. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to lose anything. It's not like you have to replace everything you have, because I certainly haven't. I mean, there are some DVDs that I have that even if it came out on Blu-ray, I'm not going to replace it, anytime soon, because it's just not, why bother? But yeah, I'm not really sure.
I typed in something. I want you guys to see the efforts made to put shit on Blu-ray. Wait till you see this. Go to YouTube and type in 100 Years of Universal Restoring the Classics. It's a 9-minute video about the efforts they go to present these movies in the absolute best possible version you could possibly see. The things they do to fix shit up when this shit got faded, when it cracked, when it peeled, when it split, all the stuff that goes down, the fucking noise in the background, all this stuff is now brought to you the way it was intended to be brought to you. And the fact, why would you want to stay with DVDs and tapes? It just amazes me. I get the nostalgia, but in reality, just collect it and just leave it in your closet, man. Don't watch shit like that. It's blurry. It's just blurry. You're missing all the great stuff. You're not watching it like you did in the 80s. in the 80s, when that stuff went to the movie theater, it was clear as a fucking bell in the movies. It was great. When they decided to sell it to home audiences, the formats they put it on were garbage. You're not even looking at the whole goddamn movie, because you're only looking at a box of it if you're watching a tape, and if it's DVD, it's fucking blurry.
I hate pan and scan.
Oh, God.
I hate that.
Yeah.
So some movies, I mean, we actually had this conversation. I mean, some movies don't benefit from a high-definition transfer.
Only the hidden, like when they try to hide stuff, you mean?
Right. Like,
Sleepaway Camp.
For instance, Sleepaway Camp, the doorway scene is the one that springs to mind most easily. In Friday the 13th, the high-def transfer of that makes it really visible, the differences in the special effects, like the coloring differences between like the neck wound and her regular face, but
and the toothpicks out of her neck,
and the rest of that film is beautiful, and so I don't mind seeing the warts that are there that are revealed by Blu-ray when the rest of the transfer is so incredible to look at. It just it's. You know, but I mean, I guess that's true. I mean, but maybe some people don't want the illusion ruined.
Yeah, but is that really what they're holding on to?
Probably not.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, no, because I don't want the fucking neck to be a different color. Like, come on, dude. Most movies don't even have this issue. It's just like people not willing to watch certain movies or whatever, or TV shows or whatever. Let's just take Breaking Bad, for example. Say, I don't want to watch Breaking Bad. It just seems stupid and boring and whatever. And then you wait, and 10 years later, somebody finally convinces you, and you watch it, and you're fucking head over heels in love with the show. Then you're going to say, God damn, I missed out on all these great times. And I think that's what you're going to do when you have to watch Blu-ray. Eventually, you're going to say, shit, man, I could have seen all these things like looking fantastic, and I'm not. And I never did, and I wasted my life. That's how you're gonna feel.
I think wasting their life is a little strong. That's probably.
I've wasted my life.
That's probably a little harsh, but.
Okay, you didn't live life to its potential.
But I mean, these days, honestly, if you care about extras, then you pretty much have to go Blu-ray these days, because DVD, they don't have anything. And the Blu-ray releases are what's getting all the good special features.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe some people don't care about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care about that with every film. You know, I'll be honest there. There are some movies that I really don't care about watching the special features for, but on the ones that I do care about, those are the ones that I upgrade as soon as I can. You know, those are the ones or the films that you just know would look spectacular if you could see them in a crystal clear transfer.
Black Christmas is a movie that I really, really, really want to see on Blu-ray. I imagine it looks amazing because the DVD looks like shit. So I'm picturing this looking great. I should actually go on. If you ever want to know how good a movie looks on Blu-ray, go to blue-ray.com and you can see reviews and screenshots of every movie on Blu-ray. And you got some aren't actually there, but 90% are there. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a great site. So the big one I want to see now is Silent Night, Deadly Night. That just came out on Blu-ray, and that's another shitty-looking movie. All these old Christmas movies are shitty-looking. Because the colors and the lights and just something about the browns and the tans and the way everything was, it just didn't look good on tape or DVD. It looked very
grainy and washed out.
Just really bad. So I really would love to see both those movies on Blu-ray. And now they're out. And you could buy like Black Christmas for like $7 right now.
And the color palette that he used in that film is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and that is a film that I think deserves being viewed in the best way possible.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, I think that Black Christmas is as good as Halloween. I really do.
I love Black Christmas. God, that movie's good.
Yeah. People think that's crazy because Black Christmas isn't even like if you do top 20 lists of everybody in the world, that might not even show up on over 50%, and Halloween will. And Halloween will most likely be number one. So how can you possibly say something like that? Because I don't think that necessarily how something was received has any bearing on what actually took place on film.
No, and if anybody tells me that they don't think John Carpenter watched Black Christmas before he made Halloween, I'm calling bullshit on that. You know, I mean, that film, it does not get the recognition it deserves. No. Honestly, it does not. And just like I don't think everyone wants to give a lot of recognition to Halloween. And Halloween is a great film. I'm not trying to take anything away from that. But everyone wants to talk about when the slasher craze hit in the 80s, you know, Halloween is responsible for that. It's really not. Friday the 13th is responsible for that. And yes, Friday the 13th was their response to Halloween. It was, look what Halloween did, let's do this. And Halloween is the whole reason that they cite for making Friday the 13th. True. But the slasher craze didn't hit until after Friday the 13th. Mm-hmm. So if you want to look at which of those two films is actually the most influential, then Friday the 13th is going to be your winner. Because that's when slashers became a celebration of gore and sex.
And you know, Friday the 13th is the reason you have Halloween too.
Of course. And that's when Halloween got slashery. It was because of Friday the 13th.
Right. You would never have seen Halloween. You wouldn't. That would be a standalone, most likely. I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure it would have been standalone if Friday the 13th never existed and the world kind of just said, that was great.
Yeah, you look at Halloween came out in 78. How many slasher films came out in 79?
Nothing.
Exactly. So then Friday the 13th came out in 80. After Friday the 13th came out, whoosh. I mean, it was just a huge push, and that's what everyone was doing. So even though Halloween may be the reason that Friday the 13th was made, Friday the 13th is inevitably the most influential as far as bringing on the slasher craze it did.
People argue with you and say, but there are a lot of movies that were directly rips of Halloween more so than Friday the 13th, like Terror Train, like Final Exam.
But I guarantee you that you're going to have, if you started to make a list of films that were clearly influenced by one or the other, your list is going to be way longer when it hits the Friday the 13th side. Because Halloween doesn't have that, I mean, it is a beautifully made film, but it doesn't have the things that we came to recognize as slasher film after Friday the 13th came out. You know, that's got blood, it's got gore, it's got sex appeal. And those are the things that people latched onto when they were making slashers in the 80s.
Right. And Halloween is always known as the franchise that, you know, first Friday was copying Halloween, and then Halloween started copying Friday the 13th.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just like you said, you wouldn't have Halloween 2 if you hadn't had Friday the 13th. Because Halloween 2 is the point, and which is why I love Halloween 2 as much as I do, because that's the point when it said, we're going to be like a slasher film. We're going to have tits, and we're going to have blood, and we're going to have, you know, that is when Halloween to me hit the slasher stride. And then, of course, for me, it was very short-lived. That's really the only one.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done with it after that. But no, I mean, Halloween 3 notwithstanding, you know, because it's not a slasher film. But
isn't that cool? It's not even a slasher film.
No, but it's fantastic. And of course, there was the sex scene in Halloween, and people are going to bring that up too. But it's not. It's just not. It wasn't to the same level, you know, when the craze really hit and they started just turning them out. They zeroed in on two things, you know, basically
blood and tits.
Blood and tits. And that's what they took from that and ran with it. And that was what made the money. That's what drawed the teenagers into the theater, you know, or drawed
them in.
I've been hanging around you too long.
Yeah, it done there draw them in. We should make a movie called Blood and Tits. I bet you
and
would
it
do
would
great.
Make money.
Yeah. It would be like, hey, did you hear about this guy, Alex and Jamie? They're like John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. And they made this movie, Blood and Tits, and it's actually really good. You really got to see this. Then all of a sudden, we'll just take over. That's what we got to do. Get out of this rut.
Yeah, because you don't get blood and tits in it at all anymore.
No, you don't get that. So we have to change horror Make it about blood and tits for once. Come on. Yeah. No, I guess my whole point was just name it that. Get right to the point. You know, I can't come up with things like amniocentesis and fucking hypnagogic. I gotta come up with blood and tits, sorry. I'm the man's man, come on! This yuppie bullshit.
You're every man's filmmaker.
Yes, exactly. I know what you want. Did you ever read my Friday 13th Part 9 script? Tell me that's not what you want.
We're gonna make a whole series. There's gonna be bullets and car chases.
Yeah, exactly. Jason can also drive a car and put one hand out the window and shoot a gun. I think that would be amazing to see that.
Once upon a time, or was it more recently, there was a young boy named Dodger. He was the sort of child who was always left out of things. Each day after school, Dodger works in a junk shop owned by the mysterious Captain Mancini.
Witch's broth and vampire's brew make these clothes as good as new.
Dodger has never had a family or a friend he could call his own. Until now.
What's that?
They came out to help us.
Meet the Garbage Pail Kids.
Starring Nat Nerd, Windy Winston, Messy Tessie,
Give him a chance, Tangerine. You'll like it.
Alligator, Valerie Vomit, Greaser Greg,
I'm gonna get fired for this.
Foul Phil,
Nice little totes.
The Garbage Pail Kids movie. They may not be pretty, but boy, they make great friends. Starring Anthony Newley and Mackenzie Aston. The Garbage Pail Kids movie.
We can do anything by working with
each other.
We can't even sing together. Jesus Christ.
That's terrible.
Oh my God. Yep. So here we are, guys. This is it. This is the show you never thought you'd hear. Now, the reason why I want to get into this is because this was supposed to be a horror movie. It was supposed to be done by John Carl Buechler.
I thought you were going to say John Carpenter, sorry.
John Carpenter was supposed to do this.
Yeah, okay.
And so Buechler was supposed to do it, and his idea was he wanted the Garbage Pail Kids to be in an actual Garbage Pail can, and someone throws something in it, they mutate into creatures who are killers, and they go around killing everybody.
Wow.
That would have been cool, too.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't know, Dave. I'd rather watch them sew clothes, but okay.
The fucking Garbage Pail Sweatshop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ.
Totally.
This movie raises so many goddamn questions. So many questions I have. It's incredible. I can't even believe it.
It's brilliant. It's all fucking social political commentary at its finest.
Oh yeah, and their message really got across, didn't it? You know, because the beauty is only on the inside. People really picked up on that, while Blythe and Wally were getting puked on at the end of the movie. So this movie gets 2.8 on IMDb. It is 1987, Garbage Pail Kids, the movie. It is starring Phil Fondacaro, who is the most famous midget of the 80s. He played Greaser Greg. Anthony Newley is a real actor. He played Captain Manzini. Mackenzie Aston is the kid from Facts of Life. He played Dodger, and I actually...
Also Sean Astin's brother.
Really?
And John Astin's son, who played Gomez on The Addams Family.
Yep. And Katie Barbary plays Tangerine, and she's a very successful actress in Spanish television, because she's actually Spanish. And Ron MacLachlan plays Juice. He's the main bully of the movie, and this is directed by Rod Amato. And his son plays Juice's henchman, Wally. So, About 3 people actually wrote this movie, believe it or not. so
I don't believe it.
It took 3 people to get this. Who saw it for the first time around? I guess Dave, right?
Yeah, I did for the first time. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of the Garbage Pail Kids movie?
It's fun.
From a 40-year-old man. Here you go. Garbage Pail Kids movie.
It's a fun movie. I'll tell you what. It's but like I said before, don't watch it sober. That's all I could say. This is the perfect. Really, this is a great movie with the right crowd, the right people with you, and catching the right buzz. You'll have a good night.
It takes a lot to enjoy this, basically, is what he's saying.
It doesn't take a lot. No, it doesn't.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's not a lot, really. No, if you have even by yourself. I watched it by myself. There was times where I wish I had people with me, the right people. It can't just be anybody. But there was a few people that I wish were with me watching it and, indulging under the same chemical buzz I was indulging. And it really is fun.
All right, cool. So, Matt, you watched it in 19 blah, blah, blah.
88 or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even like it then. I remember I watched it multiple times, and I recall after repeat viewings thinking, why am I watching this again? I was just so hard up for entertainment, I guess, but at the same time, I still didn't like it. Watching it now, I can't say I liked it, but if you want to laugh at something for its shortcomings and the idioticness of it all, then this is it. I mean, this is some crazy ass shit here.
Jamie, what do you think of, and what is your history with the movie and watch-wise?
My history is I saw it when it came out, and I didn't really like it. Like I was kind of disappointed with some of the characters, and then I just sort of forgot about it. When it came out on DVD, I got the DVD and I watched it again, and then it sat on my shelf until you said, "Hey, let's do it."
Are you serious? It sat on your shelf for 10 years?
I watched it the once, but then I hadn't watched it again until now. And to be honest, when I watched it this time, I was in the beginning. I was just like, God, the humor is so bad. It's so bad. And then watching all the kids, and then they're just like, meh, 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 and they're just, and like Alligator, who was one of my favorite cards, like I said earlier, his character was completely on my nerves. But then as I got into it, I sort of felt a little bit differently about it. So, and which, we can get into. But
wow. Okay.
I agree with that, because by the time the third act happens, I'm more into it. Yeah. But I guess I was just like, this time,
there are things about it I really do like.
Yeah.
Yeah. This time I was just sitting there, arms folded, like, halfway through the movie. I'm like, nope, this isn't a thing that should have happened. But by the end of it, I'm like, all right, I kind of get this. I kind of get what's happening. So
awesome. Like I said, I've watched it. Obviously I like it. I understand that it's technically not good. I do understand that. I could see why people wouldn't. But then again, I also, I just get lost in it. Oddly enough, here's what I think about it. Like, I think everybody did a good job. I know you guys are gonna go, what? But I think everybody did a convincing job of acting when it comes to Dodger, Tangerine, and believe it or not, Juice too. You might think he was very stiff and wooden, but it just really worked for what he looked like, what they had him do, and all that type of shit. So if you're given that script and you look that part, that is exactly how it should be played. I mean, I don't think there's anything. I love that character, actually. Dodger, how he was able to sell the scenes as if they were reality and play the truth of the scene. I don't even know how he did that. I think it's incredible. Like, I couldn't imagine treating this like it was serious. Like, playing this movie straight must be a fucking task. Obviously, the bad acting was clearly from the henchmen, Wally and Blythe. Those are terrible actors. A lot of the extras or whatever. The guards at the place that we'll talk about later. They're horrible actors. The Garbage Pail Kids themselves, I feel like they were pretty talented people delivering those lines. They did a convincing job, you know. I didn't think anything was off with that. Now let's get. But
it didn't match up with the mouths. Yeah, that was a big problem for me. It was like watching a foreign Italian slasher or something like that. Nothing was syncing up at all.
It's like Godzilla is coming to the village, and it's like it does not match the fucking mouth. Yeah, that's the problem. These animatronics. So
I didn't even care. I didn't even care about that. It was just part of the charm in a weird way. This movie was totally 80s. 80s
Oh, this
cheese.
movie was so 80s from its very core, and that's one of the things I can't wait to talk about is one of the things I like about it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So the Garbage Pail Kids in this movie are Alligator, Greaser Greg, Valerie Vomit, Windy Winston, Foul Phil, Messy Tessie, and Nat Nerd. Okay, let's go with the looks of these Garbage Pail Kids. They looked nothing like the cards at all. In any way, and they actually repainted all of those Garbage Pail Kids, and they actually released 4 of them officially for movie promotion, and they redid the cards with the look of the fucking movie, and it is scary looking, man.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's weird though, but it's cool. It's whatever. But yeah, they don't look anything like it. What did you guys think? Like, let's just say if you can go back into your child mind, or even Dave, knowing what Garbage Pail Kids look like.
Same thing.
Yeah, exactly. When you looked at these things, what do you think when it comes to I'm now seeing Garbage Pail Kids come to life?
It's funny, man. It's funny. And some of them are gross. Some of them I didn't even like to look at. And others were just humorous because of the way they looked. What the hell? Why was, what's his name? Greaser Greg? Mm-hmm. The fucking Fonz wannabe? Okay. Right?
Hey, chicks is chicks, and I know my chicks.
He was entertaining, but let me see. Let me ask, why was he a Garbage Pail Kid? What was fucked up about him besides the fact that he was a greaser? Like, what was the card looking like?
Exactly. And he had a big head, and he was a midget. Yeah, exactly.
Weren't they all? I don't know. Were they real?
Yeah, I'm get to that too. Yeah. Okay. Well, first I'll answer this, then we'll get into the midget thing for Matt. Basically, Garbage Pail Kids, dude, I mean, they just take, like, literally, I'm looking at one right now, because I even have the folders that kids had brought to school, like those big, gigantic folders.
Oh, yeah, I remember those, yes.
Yep, I got, like, 4 of them right here.
That's
and
cool.
So, Jelly Kelly I'm looking at, it's just a girl on the phone eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the shit splatter all over her, meaning that
Also known as Babbling Brook.
Yes, absolutely.
Ooh. Whoa, damn.
So, basically, nothing has to happen to them. They just are. Okay, basically what Garbage Pail Kids are, you could say you're into anything in the world, and there's a Garbage Pail Kid of it. If you're into swimming, if you're into Harley Davidsons, if you're into tennis, if you're into bowling, if you're into anything.
Right.
Anything. Anything happening. If you're into ping pong, if you're into fucking marbles. Graffiti, anything. There's a Garbage Pail Kid. Anything.
Yeah, I guess I couldn't see why he was one, because every other Garbage Pail Kid in this movie, I could picture what would be on their card. You know what I'm saying? And it would be something gross or funny or whatever.
One
but
throws
him,
up, one snots.
Yeah, one farts.
One pees. Yeah.
One's ugly and pees.
One's an alligator.
Right.
Yeah.
But this one...
Toes.
Yeah, well, the shocking thing, you know, because the Garbage Pail Kids were shocking, the shocking thing about Greaser Greg was that he was holding a knife in the card.
Okay, so he's just a fucking punk, just a West Side Story greaser fucking... Okay.
Yeah. So now let's get into the people portraying Garbage Pail Kids. Matt, what did you think of midgets portraying Garbage Pail Kids?
Okay, guys, wouldn't it be so much better if they just had, you know, filmed regular size actors and then somehow, you know, made them smaller through the magic of filmmaking? They wouldn't have been waddling around and with their giant heads almost falling over and their little arms and stuff like that. I don't know.
Oh, but think about it back then in the kind of CGI they had. It would have looked terrible if they did that.
Yeah, that would look terrible. Yeah,
it would look like Willy Wonka.
Yeah, the new one,
Yeah.
right? Right.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
no. I meant the old one where the little kid.
the old one.
Yeah, where the kid shrunk himself.
What was wrong with the... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, they're midgets.
Right, exactly. They had to be. Imagine if they would have had CGI ones in fucking the original. They were perfect the way they were. But even in the Tim Burton one, the new one, it doesn't fucking make it... That CGI is average, I guess, for the time it came out, but it doesn't look right. It was so much better that when they all had a specific thing in the original Willy Wonka. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right? What the fuck was that all about with the Indian guy?
Well, that movie sucks, but...
The new one, yeah. But you gotta go with midgets, Matt. That's why.
Well, what if they told you that there were children in those costumes and
Right.
not
That
midgets?
would've
Would
been
that
better.
make a difference?
Yeah.
Well, it would have made a difference because they wouldn't have moved like that. I'm sorry. You know a midget when you see a midget.
No,
sorry.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
Dude, the funniest shit was when they were passing the bag of clothes up the stairs and fucking Greaser Greg gets knocked the fuck over and he's waddling up to get up again. Oh my god. That was so funny.
See, I'd love to watch them run because like their legs don't go like scissor action
No.
like normal.
Oh, no,
people.
they don't.
They're like side.
Yeah.
And when Greaser Greg's putting the bike away and he walks back to the Captain Manzini store, his legs, it's like, oh my god, that's a midget. It's a fucking midget with a gigantic head on.
I
The
didn't
huge
even...
fucking head. Yeah.
Dude, I didn't even get... None of that registered with me at all. I was too
You know what?
compelled because they were all the
He
characters...
was compelled.
I was. They were larger than life characters. They really were. I was watching this movie like, oh, they were interesting looking. They were
And
fucking,
here's your Oscar for Garbage Pail Kids.
they were just larger than
Won
life
Best
characters.
Actor. Here you go.
They just blew me away. Just their appearances blew me away. I wasn't even thinking about what was underneath. It could have been anything, and I was just blown away by their appearances. They're very. I don't know. They were compelling to look at. Some of them gross. I really had a difficult time watching the fucking Zip Boy.
Yeah, he's hard to
I
watch.
can't really look at that.
It was gross. He was like deformed. You know how I am with deformities. That's,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it looked too real to me. That fucking shit. It's still
That's
real
it,
to me.
guys.
Damn it.
I'm taking you both to a freak show.
Well, honestly, we talk a lot about midgets. That honestly didn't affect me in this in any way because they're so freakish with their gigantic heads that you can't not just look at their faces. I think the whole time.
And they're
So,
yeah, right.
I really never even thought about the whole midget aspect after 5 minutes. Because I just thought they're too fucking crazy. Yeah.
Oh, so right away, that was the first thing you picked up on, is that they were midgets.
Of course. Are you kidding me?
Dude, he has a phobia. Of course
Right,
he did.
exactly. Okay, I can see that. I guess that's what. Yeah. So you do have a phobia. That's okay. So be it.
I don't.
It's okay.
have a phobia, but
I've been
I'm
public
playing it
about
up.
mine.
Yeah, no.
Everybody knows mine. I got mine too. You got yours. My wife is the exact same way, man. Exact. Matter of fact, we went to fucking the fish
She hates
concert.
white people?
Hey, there was 2 black Garbage Pail Kids in this movie, man.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
and
no
I'll get to that in a
shit.
second. And I'll get to that.
And the fucking ratio was incredible. I mean, there's only how many? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, and 2 are black.
I don't think
Wait,
that one was black.
Alligator white?
No, he was black.
You know what? He looked Samoan to me.
He was just
looked like
Cajun.
no, I'm telling you, he looked Samoan completely. The shirt he had on, the way he looked, his color, his hair. He looked
Alligator?
fucking... No, alligator. What was the farter? The guy that farts. Him. What's his name?
Wendy Winston.
Wendy Winston, yeah. That dude was black as fuck.
He looked Samoan to me. I could totally buy it. He looked like a fucking... I don't know, The Rock or something, shrunken.
Yeah.
Samoans represent.
Well, this movie did hit rock bottom, so.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I love it. Yeah, no, it's crazy. The mouth's not matching. The faces are so fucking hideous looking.
The eyeballs on Alligator were freaking me the fuck out. When that guy was like looking around and his mouth was fucking chomping away, and I'm like, what the fuck is he even looking at? I don't fucking get it. It was freaking me out a little bit. Like if you just played a clip of that on a loop with like some weird trippy ass music behind it, you would fucking freak out.
Dude, It's like this. Here's their method. They said, well, we have to make these things look real, so when Dodger or Captain Manzini or whatever are talking, let's just have them move their eyes around like real people. You know?
Right.
So they just randomly fucking look around. It's like, what are you looking at? Like real people either look at you or they look at the floor. They don't look everywhere. It's just
constantly moving their eyes all shifty like. Who is this fucking asshole? What is he doing?
And even the opening scene, once they get into the shop, like the fucking pitchers were looking, their eyes were moving around.
What the fuck was up with that? So many questions. Yes. What was up? Like, was it, what? I don't even get that. What was up with that?
Who was that? Nobody knows?
I thought it was going somewhere, but it never. I mean, the only thing you could take from that is that Captain Manzini knows magic. Clearly, you know, he's doing the send the kids back in the pail. No.
Really black magic, according to the book that he's reading.
Right.
Really black magic.
Yeah, right. And even when he's like, something's us and vampires brew, make these clothes as good as new, and the washing machine starts up. Like, clearly he's into that. So I that's all I'm taking from it. I don't know what that's all about.
Before we get too far, I have a question about the opening credits, believe it or not. Okay, so it starts with a gigantic garbage pail flying through space, and the credits are coming at us via cards and stuff like that. It's pretty cool, actually. But are we to believe that the Garbage Pail Kids are from outer space? Is that what?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, is that ever conveyed later in the movie, or is it just the beginning?
No, never, ever.
Okay, I was confused as fuck. Yeah, okay.
Awesome. That's why this movie is awesome. I'll tell you shit like that. I'm not kidding you.
Fucked it up.
I love it. It's fucking what everybody says about Troll 2. This is a fucking 1,000 times better than fucking Troll 2. This is so bad it's good in the best possible fucking way. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, it was great. And I tell you what, it's tailor made for acid. I don't do acid, but I did acid years ago. You know, when Matt said trippy a minute ago, I'm thinking, man, this would be great on acid. Oh my god, right? Wow.
Yep. I'm loving Dave. I think he's my new best friend today.
Right on. What do you mean new? What the fuck?
I know we've been, but I'd like. Can you be a better best friend? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the man.
They just don't answer anything. But here's the most bizarre part of that fact. Let's just say we're gonna go along with they're aliens from God knows where the fuck, maybe a garbage can planet or something, and they just randomly, I guess, hit Earth, yet they're completely sure that other friends are there. What do you guys... Something, we're looking for our friends. Like, why would they be here? And there's not a lot of you. I mean... I don't know. I don't think anyone in the world has ever seen anybody that looks like this. Like, clearly they're a rare breed, but they're completely convinced that other people that look like them are there.
We never see them. We have no idea who the fuck they're talking about. But yet, that's like an impetus of the movie is them trying to find their friends and stuff like that. But
it's crazy.
Where did you come from? As far as I know, you came out of this garbage pail that was in this guy's fucking crazy ass Friday 13th, the TV series shop.
Yes.
And he's trying to get you back in. Where are the others? I don't get it. So much they just leave unexplained. It's crazy.
They talk about their friends, and I don't know how many watches it took me to realize that we never see these assholes. I mean, they build this up, and they talk about, there's other ones, they're Banana Anna.
They're looking for them in the alley garbage cans.
Yeah, right. They're supposedly locked up, and we'll get to that soon. And that's insane. And you never the huge payoff of the movie never happens. I guess they just didn't want to waste money making more paper mache puppets. Or whatever the fuck that was.
Which is a shame because I wanted more, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we spent so much time with these 7. I wanted them to explore the world deeper because there are so many others and so many better ones. And I wanted to, I'm like, okay, where are they? You know, they're looking for them. I'm like, we're going to get to see them. No, we don't. I was really disappointed because the by the time this movie came out, there were so many Garbage Pail Kids to choose from and we only got stuck with this handful. And I was mainly disappointed with the ones that they chose. So I was really hoping that we would get to see more, when we went to the place. But we didn't. They met a dark end, it seems.
Yeah, they were killed, and we'll get to that.
Alex, I was going to ask you. I thought I missed that in the plot. When they got to it, I'm like, aren't they here to get a friend? And I was going to ask you about this. I thought maybe I missed something in the plot. Maybe I thought I heard that they thought they had a friend there, and I was just wrong. Because, my attention isn't, it's documented.
We're goldfish, we know.
Yes, I'm a goldfish, yes. So I was confused about that. I was going to ask you, but then you guys just brought us. I'm like, okay, now this is what I enjoyed about the movie. Yes, it's fucked up that it wasn't there, but that is one of the best things about it. That's why it's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad they weren't there just because you can laugh at the movie for that, and that's what's fun about it.
Yeah, that they built up this whole thing to nothing. And it's funny that the Garbage Pail Kids they even hinted were here. Messy Tessie was like, Ultraviolet, banana, Anna, when she was looking in the garbage in the alleys. One of them is just a Garbage Pail Kid with a sunburn, and the other one is a banana, which I posted on Banana Laser's Facebook. So it's just a banana. They were looking for a banana in a garbage.
Shouldn't be hard to find.
Yeah, it's at horrorphilia.com. So, so the opening scene after we get past what we already talked about, Captain Manzini just trusted that these things would stay in it, and God knows how they fucking fit in this garbage can is beyond me.
Right, what the fuck? and why does he have them? Why is he the collector? I don't understand. Why is he the keeper of these things? And here's another thing. The whole movie, he's trying to remember a thing to get him to go back in there. Well, they get out in the first scene of the movie and get back in.
Because they're afraid that he'll find them.
Oh, yeah, he puts the thing on the top. Yeah.
Yeah, the very beginning has them sneaking around and fucking shit up and all this stuff. But then they get back in. But then later, when they're released by Dodger, they just stay out. They're like, fuck it. What's Cap Manzini gonna do now?
Right.
Nothing.
They were afraid that they were fucking shit up at night, and he's like, if I see anybody up here, I'll be very surprised. And you're wondering, like, okay, so what does that mean? He knows that they're there, or is he telling them, like, I better not see you guys out? I don't even know what he really meant when he said that.
It's not like he ever threatened them or anything like that, and he obviously didn't even know how to keep them contained or anything like that.
Yeah, he put the fucking scuba helmet on top of a garbage can.
Right.
And they literally could not get it off. Like, it's just crazy.
Oh, that's great. Holy fuck.
The opening scene, two punk gang members are chasing a 14-year-old boy in an open daylight park. And it's so open that you can see somebody throwing a frisbee and a dog's catching it in the background. Like, they're not hiding the fact that they're chasing a boy to inflict harm on him. You get introduced to Juice, Tangerine, his girlfriend, Blythe, a gang member, and Wally. I guess their boyfriend and girlfriend. And so he's like, you can't beat Juice's lines, man. He's like,
dude,
gimme. I don't got any money. And the girl's like, if he ain't got money, he ain't got nothing. And it's like, God, you give up quick.
Okay, creep, gimme.
I don't have any money. If he ain't got money, he ain't got nothing.
You're running out of time, creep.
No, please.
Little baby gonna cry?
Now, here's the question I have with this scene. Okay, we're introducing Dodger, Tangerine, all these characters, Juice. What the fuck does Juice want with a 14-year-old's fucking chump chains? Why is he chasing down four people? 4 people are chasing down a 14-year-old. This makes no sense. To get his fucking milk money or some shit.
$2.
Yeah, exactly. But then later in the movie, you see Juice. He's like making a phone call, and it's kind of alluding that he's like a drug dealer or something.
Yeah, he's like, when the stuff gets over the border, get it to the warehouse.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
exactly.
a drug dealer.
So it's like, wait a minute, why are you fucking around with this kid if you're dealing drugs? across borders. I don't fucking understand. This shit is hilarious.
Do you really need that kind of heat?
Yeah. Yo, I need $5 for a sandwich. Hey, that kid over there, let's go fucking harass him and get his money. Jesus.
He's an all-around bad guy. That's the point they're making with him. That's it.
Exactly.
Nothing.
He's so bad he has nothing better to do on an afternoon than chase around a 14-year-old.
I'm telling you, you got to look at this movie through the eyes of an 8-year-old. It's if you're an 8-year-old and you see that, it's like, oh yeah, he's the bad guy. Of course he's going to chase this guy who's an adult to me, this 14-year-old, and take all of his money because he's bad.
You know what? I think that it's for 14 and 15-year-old kids at the time.
No way.
That's the demographic.
You are high off your ass. No fucking
10, 11,
way.
12, man.
Dude, 15 is way too old for this movie.
Yep. I actually know somebody, I was just talking to somebody today who said they were 15 when this stuff was out, and they were just half into it. They were like, yeah, they're cool, and they gave these, like, you know, pity attempts to do stuff. Yeah, I collect them. I really wasn't into it. And it's just because once you're 15, it's right at that moment where the shit passes. And even when I was 15, I was not into it. You know, I got back into it, you know, years later when somebody.
Yeah, these are dick and fart jokes. That's all it is. Dick and fart jokes stop being funny around, 15, and then they get funny again as you get an adult, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm just a kid. I get it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's when you're grasping for that youth is when you find,
Yes, exactly.
Did anyone find it bizarre that the whole film was based around this 14-year-old trying to get this adult? I mean, she was living on her own. She's clearly, I mean, she's going to dance clubs to sell her clothing. She's clearly an adult. Yet the Garbage Pail Kids are helping this kid get his Mac on so he can gain the attention of this chick who is is so illegal. I mean, if she touches him, she's going to jail. I'm watching this like this is. I understand that 14-year-old boys would be all about Tangerine. I get that.
Oh, yeah. I am today.
Realistically, that is not normal. I mean, it's not normal for that to be the whole point of the movie. It's
right.
We have to keep almost drilling it into your heads that this is a children's movie. You're watching a 14-year-old hook up with an adult chick, and think about it like this: she's with juice. That is the level she's at, and this kid who's a foot shorter and all this shit trying to hook up with her, and these guys trying to help him do it reluctantly through the most bizarre method ever, and we'll get to that.
Do you know what's so funny about Mackenzie Astin in this movie? His character, to me, it's the exact same role he played on The Facts of Life. Exactly. He was dressed the same. He acted the same. He flirted with older chicks that were out of reach. It was 100%. I think that he was filming it at this time, doing one in the morning and doing one at night.
Well, yeah, I mean, he pretty much was. Like, this is when he was at his height. And, so yeah, I mean, and it is exactly the same character. He is so one-dimensional at this point.
It's crazy. And in real life, they're only a year apart in age.
Yep.
Fucking, yeah. Wow.
Want to hear something crazier? In the interview I did with Mackenzie Astin, they were dating when this movie started.
Yes! What? Good for him.
That's how she got the job. He recommended her. Could you imagine? He was fucking Tangerine in real life.
Wow.
Dude. Yeah, he had to climb that mountain. Holy shit.
Now, Tangerine, looking at her now, when I was a kid, I would have thought she was hot, and I could understand that now to this day. And that's what separates her from, that 80s style. It isn't just that, but, some girls you have nostalgia for, it isn't really the case. She actually is pretty. Because, you guys, Alex, you remember Wendy Richter, right? The women's wrestler? No?
Oh, yeah.
When I was a kid, I thought she was hot, right? Now, years later, when I go back and watch it, not in the fucking slightest.
Nothing, yeah.
No, and see, that was nostalgia on the 80s style. She was kind of dressed that way like this chick was.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, she actually is pretty.
Yeah, well, she's a Spanish chick. She's actually insanely successful in Spanish television. So she's obviously my liking. So okay, so here's where it gets really weird. Like, Matt is wondering why Juice is so interested in harassing this 14-year-old. He takes it to levels that are fucking insane, and this is right off the bat. Tangerine Dodger lures her in with some shit. She leaves her friends, goes into Captain Manzini's shop. He's saying, hey, I got a lot of shit for you to make your clothes, for your designs. He gives her beads and shit. She finally finds a pin that she likes. She goes, how much is this random pin that looks like nothing? And he just closes her hand. He touches her hand to close it, and saying, it's yours. You don't have to pay for anything. My boss will be pissed, but he makes $2 a day, but I'll make it even worse by giving this away to you. So he gives her the pin, and then Juice comes in and goes, you touch my woman, creep. Like, Juice, what was he doing the whole time? He was just like, what the fuck? As soon as he touched her, he walked in, you touch my woman, creep.
Touch my woman, creep.
No, Juice. Baby, come on, he's just a kid. He's about 12 years old. I'm 14. I'm almost 15.
He's not worth the time it'll take to beat him up. Forget him. Come on, let's go have some fun.
Wish I could help you, baby, but the little creep's gotta be taught a lesson. It's a matter of principle.
Oh, yeah? I think it's just a matter of you liking to see people bleed.
And she's like, oh, Juice, don't do anything. He's like, sorry, I wish I could help you, baby, but it's a matter of principle. And then she's like, oh, yeah? I just think you like to see people beat up. And it's like, oh, shit, he's going to be pissed. He just stands there staring at her. Then they have this whole fight, and Dodger, to beat this gang of bullies, he starts dribbling a basketball.
Oh my
Ridiculous.
God, this fucking scene is fucking so stupid. He's in like a 5-foot radius, and he's maneuvering, around these two fucking assholes, and yeah, the dribbling a basketball to get away, to distract this fucking asshole. This shit is fucking hilarious.
Spinning it on his finger.
It's so bad, it's good.
And I love the guy was thrown off. He didn't know what to do.
Oh my God, he's got a basketball. Juice, what do I do? Juice,
1, 2.
what am I supposed to do? Yeah, you didn't say anything about basketball. What the fuck?
And then there's the skateboard gimmick.
Yeah.
Where he slides a skateboard at him and the asshole falls on his ass. I mean, clearly, again, kids. This is kids' humor.
They're making like this is totally normal, and there's nothing cartoonish. Let's just keep going. Let's try. And then Juice points to him. The guy gets up and goes after him again, or some shit. The girl kicks him. He looks up and down her leg and is like, And then Tangerine laughs and shit. It's just like crazy. So Juice goes to punch Dodger, and he ends up punching a foot taller than Dodger is, and punches his own guy in the face. But eventually, they get Dodger. They take him outside. She goes, "What are you gonna do?" And he's like, "I'm gonna send the scuzzball on a little journey." And then they lift a fucking manhole.
The unattractive chick lifts the manhole.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
How about the clothes? How about those great clothes?
As pretty as Tangerine was, other one was not.
Yeah, she's not.
Oh God, she was. I would rather fuck the other guy, her boyfriend, I think, than that chick. Oh my God.
Yeah, ugh. She's a beast.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna send the scuzzball on a little journey.
Oh, come on, Juicy baby, no. Let's go play.
See you later, creep.
Yeah.
And they stuff him head first. Now, this is all for touching Tangerine's hand. Stuff him into a sewer, kick him down. He's knocked.
Kill him.
Yeah, strap him. Juice takes Tangerine's belt, straps him to pipes, and turns on the shit. No, he couldn't do it. They have to get the Beast Woman to turn the fucking
right.
Fucking China.
That's what she is. She's China.
Right?
Pretty much.
That's where China got her gimmick, man. They turn a shit pipe on, and it just spews shit on the kid, and they just leave him for dead.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's hardcore.
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out, though, is when you're in the sewer, if you pay attention to the back wall of the sewer, they have these arrows pointing, and it's like, City Zoo, and one of them, and I thought it was really clever and really funny, is that one of them said, primetime television. Like to the left. So basically, they're saying that primetime TV is in the sewer, and I thought that was kind of funny.
The one that says toxic waste. Did that not make you think of Jason Part 8? Yes. Yes, it really does exist in the
be
sewers.
A kid. Oh wait, he already is a kid. He's gonna be.
Yeah, maybe he woke up and he was Dodger.
Wow!
Nice.
Holy shit!
Jason becomes Dodger. Mind blown.
Holy fuck!
And off we go.
What else is funny too is that if they're saying primetime TV was in the shitter back then.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they didn't know anything.
Amen. Yeah. Now, do you guys think the intent of this movie was to be so bad it's good? Or do you think that when they're doing this basketball scene, for example, and this, you don't think it's occurring to them that none of this is making sense? And that
they're making
people are going to be second guessing?
They were making a kids movie, straight up. They just didn't have all the shortcomings of this comes from not having any money. The Garbage Pail Kids, as hilarious as they look fucking terrible. All the acting, and sets and there's no sense to the plot and stuff like that. There's no budget to it all. They were just making a kids movie. I don't think they thought they were making a bad movie on purpose. I don't think so.
No, I think that if you look at it, like all of the humor and everything it fits within what a kid's movie would be, at least back then. I honestly don't think they could make a kid's movie like that now.
No way.
But back then that was kids movie.
I'll even say 13 years old. I said 15 before. I can see where I'm wrong. I wouldn't really say 10. I guess I'm thinking of my daughter being 8 and thinking in 2 years I don't think that she would. I don't know. Either way, I'm saying 13 just because of that. That's their demographic. But honestly, that's in my opinion. But now the revenue it should be getting, well, not a revenue, but the attention it should be getting should be from fucking adults that want to catch a buzz
Definitely.
and watch something that's so bad it's good. They want to watch
things were different when we were kids, though. A lot more was acceptable when we were kids, and a lot more. I mean, it's just like say for instance, like Monster Squad. In Monster Squad, which I saw as a kid and loved as a kid and all of that. When I watched it most recently we were doing a show on kid-friendly horror films. I mean, Dracula calls the little 5-year-old girl a bitch.
Yeah, right.
In that movie. And I don't know if parents would be okay with that now. I mean, like back when we were kids it didn't matter, but I don't know, would they be okay with that? Some grown man you little bitch, it's like that's kind of harsh.
Not in a movie that's trying to make money, no.
I guess that's true.
Independent shit, sure, but not this type of thing. During this fight with the basketball we're talking about, the garbage can actually falls off a shelf. The guy pushes Juice out of the way, and they get up, throw Dodger in the sewer. And when the garbage can falls over, none of these kids fall out of it or anything. I mean, nobody looks in it. Nothing happens. Just green slime comes out. And yet we're to believe that somehow 7 of those things are in this and are hiding. Or maybe it's like another dimension, like when they go in it. It's like
Mary Poppins' bag.
Yeah, when they go in it, it's like a dimension. Like when Roger Cobb smashed his medicine mirror and there was like a whole world behind it. I don't know. Maybe that's what that was. I have no clue. So Dodger takes the blame for some reason, saying he's the reason they're out, blah, blah. I don't know why he just didn't tell the truth.
That bothers me. I don't like that he gets the blame for that because it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, he goes, you don't understand. He goes, I wouldn't, or something, and that's it.
That's his punishment for giving that thing away to that girl. He's costing that guy money.
Yeah. Yeah. The kids, the Garbage Pail Kids, they meet Dodger. They all have introductions. Fucking Greaser Greg pulls a knife on him or something right away. I don't even know.
Nat pees himself, of course, for the first time of 8 times.
Yeah, so Nat Nerd, I mean, him peeing himself, man, I don't think I ever thought that was cool.
No, it's stupid in the beginning, and it's stupid throughout the film. It happens constantly.
I could have done without it.
Yeah, it's actually gross. Every other joke in the movie, I'm fine with. The farting, the fucking, the
puking.
snot,
I don't like
everything,
the snots, but whatever.
For some reason, the urine, I'm just like, nah. It's just when you see it for real, it's like, no. It just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, it's just weird. These kids somehow know everything about Dodger and they know who Tangerine is. I don't even know how. And they know he's trying to get her and stuff like that. So one day he just comes downstairs and he's like, they're like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just bummed out. You thinking about that girl, Kumquat?" And they're like,
"Yeah, Kumquat."
And they're like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "No, her name's Tangerine." And then this and that. And so he's like, "We're gonna help you get her." I'm glad Garbage Pail Kids, a kids movie, he's gonna get her, which usually means fuck her. So, basically they make him this horrendous-looking Michael Jackson glitter jacket.
Which I wouldn't have thought was cool even back then.
No way.
It's still not the worst outfit that Dodger wears in this movie, but go ahead. We'll come back to that later.
And it's funny, like, a lot of these things, like, we say even then, whatever. Nat Nerd, his pissing wasn't funny when I was 8, 18, 28, or 34. There's no time that's cool.
Nope.
And the same with this jacket. I don't know when this would be cool. So Dodger goes down into Tangerine's own place that she has. At 14 years old, or 16, whatever she was, she lived alone. But guys, am I the only one? Did Tangerine not come off? Didn't she seem like she was 24?
Why 24? That's very specific. I'm just curious.
I'm just going 10 years over what she is.
Oh, I see.
I would
guess that.
I would say like 20 or,
Yeah, I would have said 20, 21 is how old Juice and Tangerine,
right,
and that whole gang is, yeah.
Yeah, Juice was 22, and Tangerine was 16 or something like that. So that was incredible.
I would have thought she was older than that for sure. There was actually something that she said in the film that made me think she was like 19, but I don't remember now what that was.
I don't know, it's just weird. Everything about this is weird. Like a 16-year-old girl and Juice is making out with her, and he's like 22.
Well, a creep like Juice, that's right up his alley. I mean, he's stealing, milk money from 14-year-olds. He's going to make out with a 16/18-year-old. Makes sense for Juice.
Right.
She looks totally fuckable. I would have fucked her, so she has to be 18.
Well, see, yeah, that's why I arrived at
That's how you gauge age.
Yeah, exactly. Would I fuck her? Yes.
What about the crotch shot, man, when she's on the couch and she crosses her legs?
Dude, what about when she touches her boob and they do an extreme close-up on it, just so you get
my heart.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck? Like, dude, if you're not jerking off to that, I don't know what you will.
And they shot this. This is not right. It's just
no,
crazy.
It's not right at all. Yeah.
Like the funniest thing is, he goes to her basement and says, she's like, "Well, where'd you get this?" He's like, "I made it." She's like, "What?" "Yeah, I made it." As he's saying that, she pulls it like open. There's a fucking big gigantic tag inside the thing. And clearly, no, you bought this, bro. I don't think you're sewing your own how to wash this shit into your clothes, right? It's just crazy, dude. Like
cold only. Delicate cycle.
Right away, he goes from just showing her that he has a jacket to being obligated to make more to sell them instantly.
Hi, Tangerine. Wow. Where did you get those clothes? That is some coat. I made it. What? I made it. You made this? You like it? It's not bad. Have you got any more? Oh, some. Why? Well, I was just thinking maybe I could sell them for you. Along with mine. I mean, I could try. That jacket makes you look, older. How much older? Oh, at least 16. Maybe 17. So, How many outfits could you have for me by, say, Friday night?
Outfits?
Oh, I want at least a dozen. And of course, I can't promise you that I can sell them.
A dozen?
Well, obviously, you're an amateur.
Well, look, I could try.
You could try. You could try. Well, why don't you go try right now?
Now?
Look, obviously, you're not serious.
Oh, I am. I'm real serious. I'll go to work right now. When can I see you again?
Friday night. That is, if, of course, you have enough stuff to make it worth my while to try to help you.
I'm on my way.
And he has to have them done by this coming Friday for some
Oh,
bizarre
yeah.
reason.
She puts him on the fucking spot. Yeah, I need 10 by Friday. I'm like, what? Or a
Well,
dozen?
obviously, you're an amateur. No, I could do it.
This is like a bad sitcom kind of plot. It's like, oh yeah, I make these. Well, I need 50 by tomorrow. Yeah, no problem. You know, and then funny shit.
Colin's the Friends assembly line.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a nice jacket. I need 20.
That line cracks me up anyway. Obviously, you're an amateur. He's fucking 14. He's an amateur everything.
It's classic, dude.
Oh, that's great, man.
Oh,
It's great.
my-
She has no regard for him. Basically, she just wants to fucking get ahead in life as soon as she can. She's right on him, boom. I'm putting
And that's
this
how
fucking-
you're going to do it. You're going to sell clothes to strippers at or whoever the fuck they were.
Yes.
With the horrible music.
How?
Did you hear the music in the club? The club was like, I am a big, big man in this world. Like, what the fuck is playing in this club? Like, holy shit.
Just one man, so small in the universe. But here on earth, I'm a big, big man. Don't force my hand. Don't try to take my leg. I may be small in the universe. But here on earth, I'm a big, big man. Here where we live by the law of the land, but don't take advice from the company man.
So it's just
so
like
80s. So 80s.
Oh, it's so 80s, man.
But this all leads to, I think, one of the major themes of the movie, and that is childhood slavery. Like, what the fuck? Like, get in that sweatshop and make me some goddamn clothes. Like, what the fuck? These Garbage Pail Kids were just, somehow able to fucking do this shit.
Do they, when you look at close-ups of their hands, do they look like sewing hands to you?
What are you going to do with those pickle fingers? Come on. Nothing.
Yeah, clearly, these guys have talented hands. Yeah, sure. They look like dry, rotted rubber, and we're supposed to believe that these are skilled hands. Okay. Yeah.
If you watch them, they look like Muppets when they're patting things down. Like they can't actually hold anything. They're just like pat, 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 pat. Oh, and then your sweatshop thing. They actually go to the sweatshop to get the sewing machines to borrow the sewing machines so they can make the clothes.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
They do there's a children's movie, and the main characters are doing a B&E into a sweatshop, stealing stuff to do this work, which they are not getting paid for, living in a basement. Like, just put all this together. Like, what the fuck are we watching? And as they're doing it, they're singing a song about working together.
Why should we do something nice? Let's quit now, that's my advice. We can't do anything by working with each other. I ain't gonna work for free. Tell me what's in this for me. We can't do anything by working with each other. Come on, kids, take a shot. Show them what we really got. We can't do anything by working with each other. La 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 la. La 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 la. Can't stop now. We got it good. And we are me and you.
We can do anything by working with each other. Working with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just insane. Like, the elements here are fucked. Like, there's nothing normal about this. And then, like, so once that happens, they make a few clothes, she sells them, she takes her fucking shirt off to sell it to a girl, she sells the shirt off her back, and you see this 14-year-old or 15-year-old, whatever, in a bra, in a children's movie.
Yeah.
I came so hard during that part.
He's sporting wood. That's why he can't stand up, right?
Fuck yeah, he is. I mean,
the implication.
At 14, yeah, he's walking around with a constant erection. He's like, can I stick this in something? Is that something I can fuck? Is that something I can fuck? Just skin-on-skin contact anywhere, and I'm going to ejaculate, essentially.
It's perfect, man. It's a 13-year-old boy, all the way.
You touch my woman, creep, and probably are going to jerk off to this in about an hour.
Yeah, Bessie Tess is going to be like, what's all that? What's all the goo?
What's all that goo that's on your face?
It didn't come from me.
Exactly. It's just crazy. Juice comes around, steals this fucking broad's money, laughs about it with his friends, and he says, get in. And they get in their car, drive away, and Dodger hides himself in a fucking duffel bag. He crawls out of it. And then the B plot starts. We begin to find out that the Garbage Pail Kids have a bunch of other Garbage Pail Kids living on Earth, and they want to find their friends. That's somehow their biggest goal in life, is to find their other friends. So they get bored. They're like, well, what the fuck are we gonna do? They get a TV, the thing doesn't work, and they're hiding it from Dodger. I don't know why. I mean, they found a TV, and it would be the end of the world if Dodger finds out that they're gonna watch TV. I guess that's not in the contract for the fucking sweatshop slavery thing he has going. I don't know. So they make the biggest deal out of that, and then they gotta they want to go out. So they go, and I guess they feel like having a bum's campfire type scene where they just sit around on crates.
Who doesn't want that? Yeah.
And during that time, they commit grand theft auto of a gigantic Pepsi truck. And I know they're thrilled to be in this movie.
Yeah,
product just so they
placement.
Can get a six-pack, which is basically they crawl out of the cab with a 6-pack of Pepsi, and it's like, we stole the whole truck so we can have this
for a 6-pack. And in doing so, they do a hit and run. Also,
it's not a hit and run. Oh my god, this is a fucking Bigfoot running over a fucking car kind of thing. Holy shit!
It's a monster truck mashing. Holy
yeah.
A mauling.
They run over Juice's van, which is about 8 feet high, with a Pepsi truck. Normally, in real life, a truck would just smash into the side of it. No. In this movie, Juice jumps out of his car with 3 seconds to think about this, jumps out of the passenger side, saving his life, and they run over his van, leaving it smashed flat, and Juice thinks nothing of it, hits the back, goes, "What'd you do to my car?" It's like, I'd be saying, how the fuck did you do that?
Manure! I hate manure! Seriously, isn't Captain Manzini and Dodger's relationship just like Doc Brown and fucking Marty McFly? Does anybody else see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very that's also very classic 80s too. You've got this kid who inexplicably has no parents, has no home, hangs out all the time. Although Marty had a home, but this happened all the time. You have this kid who has no home apparently because he is always hanging out with this guy who runs this weird place. That's just
with an old weirdo.
That's like movie trope, 7B. And did you guys do that when you were that age? Did you hang out with weird guys who owned strange businesses?
Oh yeah. I got fucked by old men all the time. Yeah, definitely.
Was it the bicycle shop guy?
Thank you.
Okay, one thing I do want to say about this movie that I really like is that how there's that frequently in movies you've got the thing where the hot girl is with the asshole guy and the good guy comes along, and then you find out that the hot girl really has a heart of gold, and then she ends up like going over to the good guy, like say Revenge of the Nerds kind of thing. And so in the beginning, like, you kind of feel like this could be going that way, even though it's severely inappropriate. It is so
yeah, it just wouldn't, just the height alone makes it not work.
Yeah.
Your adult mind is going, this could never happen. Don't let this happen. But, it looks like it might be going that way. Then we find out that, in fact, it does not go that way. And just the way that these things typically end, this one does not. It takes a whole left turn, and by the end of the movie, Dodger has pretty much had it with her when he finds out what she's really like. And I really appreciate that about this film. I appreciate the fact that they looked like they were going in a cookie cutter direction, but they didn't. They just said, no, we're not going to give it that ending. We're not going to give you the ending that you're expecting for this to be like. I mean, did anybody else see it going that way? And
no, I never thought of that.
It kept me going. It was actually a good plot to the movie. I was like, I wonder if he's going to turn or she's going to turn by the end of the movie. Even though, what could happen. Obviously, I don't want them to fuck, but I want her to like him and him, to have that ending. I'm thinking, I wonder if it's going to happen. And then they actually kept me more invested in it than I thought. But then when it ended that way, that was great. He's like, I don't find you pretty anymore. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I really respected it for that, because it actually did do something original.
Yeah, I always wanted to say that to a girl, like have this big dramatic ending to a relationship and go, I just don't think you're pretty anymore. Like, I always wanted to do that, and it never actually happened. And now I'm engaged, so sure shit can't happen. If I tell my fiance she's not pretty anymore, I'm fucked. I won't get another blowjob till Christmas.
I think a guy would never do that to a chick because there's always a chance that you might be able to fuck her again. And so you never want to fucking burn that bridge. It's like, well, I might be able to fuck her one more time, so I'm not going to do that.
But if she thinks that I think she's not pretty, that will never happen.
Right.
Yeah. Never say that to any woman. For more reasons than one.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So, as they're bored, they rob shit, this and that we talked about. They also break into a movie theater. They go into the rear. That's like a classic move. I might have even watched this movie this way. But the amazing thing is, again, bringing up, there's a children's movie. They steal people's hot dogs and popcorn at knife point. Like, literally. Greaser Greg steals popcorn from a guy, and he goes, hey, and he goes to punch him, and he pulls a knife out, and he goes, chill out, dude. At knife point, what the fuck are you? What would you ever see a Care Bear do that?
He's a greaser. I mean, what can you do? That's what greasers do. We saw Friday the 13th Part 5. That's what greasers do.
No, rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tooey.
Rat-a-tat-a-tooey.
Then they end up in the toughest bar in the world, or the roughest bar in the world. Is it the
toughest bar in the world? Yeah.
Yeah.
I say we hang him.
Remind anyone else of the Blue Oyster in Police Academy, because that's what I get.
Yes, the Blue Oyster. That's where Mahoney goes.
And then, of course, all these tough people in the bar end up loving these little dudes because they're rough.
Yeah, because why? I don't know. Like, alligator bites this fucking guy's foot in the middle of a beer. They all go chasing him. Let's turn him into alligator shoes. Then Windy Winston somehow drives through a window 5 feet off the ground. How does he even get up there?
Right.
Why? The big question is, why is this this big tough motorcycle guy wearing fucking sandals?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can't ride a bike on sandals. I know that.
What the hell is that?
The only guy in the bunch. Yeah, that's right.
I guess what? It's the toughest bar in the world. He can wear whatever the fuck he wants. He can wear glitter and sequins if he wants to.
Yeah, and I love the guy they throw out when they get there. He's like, and stay out! And that guy who threw him out didn't even look tough. He looked like he was like a 45-year-old loser who just put on leathers and shit and just said, okay, I'm a biker now. Like a weekend warrior.
I think Alligator, I know Jamie said he didn't like him. He was by far my favorite character as far as...
Oh, he was so annoying to me.
Really?
Oh, he was annoying.
Oh, I liked him. I don't know. Yeah, everyone else seemed like they did annoying things, but
it was just the same jokes over and over and over again. Always wanting to eat the toes. Always wanting to eat the... And what is this? Yeah. Alligators don't have a thing about toes? Where did that even come from? That's not normal.
Yeah.
The toe thing is weird. Yeah, I'll give you that.
The amazing thing is when he opened up his lunch pail, there wasn't even any toes in there. It was just eyeballs.
Eyeballs.
And fingers.
Yeah, and fingers. Right. Fingers. He goes, how about a finger? Like, where the fuck are your toes, bro? You've been yapping about that shit. Like, are they so good you ate all those that were in there? Or, like, how the fuck do you have eyeballs and fucking human fingers? Where did you get them from?
Outer space.
Yeah.
Everything is from outer space.
They're the time bandits, man. That's who they are. They're midgets. I'm telling you.
So now this movie, it's funny, man. It tries to convey ethical values, and I think they're just lost. Do you think anybody watching this really got that? What the beauty is on the insides, and are the cards even about that? Like, why are you doing this? Like, what does this have to do with Garbage Pail Kids? Like, do they convey... Those cards are badass. They're everything that everybody shouldn't be doing. And yet, we're supposed to believe that those cards are here to teach us that although you're gross and outrageous, you're still beautiful inside?
No, but they're still bastards. They're mean to everybody except fucking the kid. You know? Right. And the bikers, the partiers, but they go along in the same category, I guess.
And Tangerine is beautiful, and she's ugly on the inside.
Yeah.
It is a movie. They got to kind of have a message regardless of what, it's aimed at kids. There has to be some kind of message. This is it. The Garbage Pail Kids are ugly on the outside, but hey, aren't we all different and crazy? But we're, as long as you're beautiful on the inside, that's the message they're trying to get out. I get that.
Yeah, but which one of these Garbage Pail Kids are beautiful? The one on the inside, the one that's pulling a knife on you,
right.
The one that's robbing your truck, the one that's running over your car, the one that's
true. Yeah.
Yeah, they're bastards. They are.
Right. They're all assholes.
Yeah.
But they all work together, in a...
When they're breaking and entering.
But they're all like a family. I don't know how they're related, but somehow they're all together. And I guess that's what it is. They're bond together because, they're not like blood related, right? They're not brother and sister or anything like that. One's an alligator.
Right. And two are black.
Yeah, but they have some kind of bond together, so they're family, and yeah, I don't know. Fuck, who knows?
Isn't it weird how the two are black, but they don't really have the black voice that the alligator has? It's kind of a reverse dynamic.
Yeah, they make a random alligator black. Like, why?
Yeah, why?
How do you decide that? How do you look at him and go, you know what? I think a black man's voice coming out of this would be perfect.
That's why this movie's the tits, I'll tell you.
The fucking blonde hair.
Oh, it's funny.
There is an institution of some kind.
Yes! This is my favorite part of the fucking movie.
It is good stuff.
Yeah, this is awesome.
It's basically a prison, but instead of putting people behind the bars, they're in like fucking chicken cages or some shit.
Rat cages for real. This shit is hilarious. And everything is labeled like it's fucking the Batman TV show. You know what I mean? It's like, this guy is what? This guy's bald, so he's too bald. Everything is too something. It's fucking hilarious.
Yep.
So this is called the State Home for the Ugly.
State home for the ugly. Everyone write that down, okay? That is just an insane thing, okay?
In a children's movie, they're supposed to make children believe that this actually exists, that there is a home. If you're too old, too bald, too weird, too silly, because, there's somebody differentiated which cage you should go in between those two. Too fat.
Very insulting.
Yeah, if you're too fat, you're going to get locked up in your own cage. If you're too skinny, so you're fucked if you do, you're fucked if you don't. If you're too gross, too hairy, too pale, so make sure you get some sun. And if you're crippled...
Too
It's offensive.
Too crippled.
Offensive.
Oh my God! How offensive is this?
Oh, strike and
Somebody
ban.
get the CCLA up in here. This shit is fucking offensive.
Strike and
Holy
ban.
shit!
I was cracking the fuck up when I saw that.
And how about it's a children's movie, and if you're too fat, guess who was too fat, kids?
Santa Claus! Incredible!
Holy shit, man.
Oh, it's great.
And to top it off, as if that was not enough to repulse you, after they capture you, there's two guys who run around in, like, you know, the old dog catchers that don't exist anymore, I guess.
Yeah, from the cartoons too. You know?
Yeah, from cartoons and shit.
Totally.
Like, I have never seen one, and I grew up in the 80s. Dog catchers basically drive around in a paddy wagon of some type, and if you are any two of any of these things, they will capture you, lock you up, and the end result is they throw you into a garbage compactor and crush you and kill you.
What the fuck, dude?
Damn.
That's crazy. How is this licensed by the government, the state government, the national government? How? I don't get how this fucking works.
Who's the president at this time?
They're right out in the open. They're not like a hidden organization like Hostel.
No.
Something. They're right out there for everyone to see. Big signs, home for the young.
Dude, they're right next to the fucking fire station. It's like no big deal.
They're not hiding at all. And nobody cares.
And even when their kids are going in there, when they're getting marched into their cage, they're like, I'm going to get the authorities. And it's like, so somebody did bring up the idea that, is this allowed? But yeah, it's allowed, believe it or not.
Somebody questioned it. Oh, that's so funny, man. So much fun.
And the thing is, the Garbage Pail Kids always assumed that their friends were already in there. And that's what they needed to find. The whole thing was, can you find the Stay Home for the Ugly? If you do, we'll keep making your bullshit clothes. Ba ba ba. The kids are up to hijinks, and like Matt, we talked about the sewer, and everything's labeled. Apparently, if you turn knobs on sewer pipes, a gushing stream of water will fly out of a toilet bowl and send a person who's sitting on it straight up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
For an 8-year-old, that seems logical. Yeah. For someone who doesn't know how the sewer works, seems normal. Yep.
Yeah, and apparently they made a whole pipe in the sewer for a hot tub.
Oh yeah, right.
They turned that, and the water shit backtracks into a hot tub. Meanwhile, why would shit be in hot tub pipes?
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Like, it didn't say toilet,
Right.
Let's change pipes.
It's just cartoon mentality. It's just fucking, you gotta go with it. Yeah. But that's what makes it fun. It's just, there's a lot of shit going on in this movie. A lot of fucked up shit. But that's funny.
And as we come to a close in the third act, basically, Tangerine, so they're making these clothes, selling them. All of a sudden, they're down in the basement. Tangerine insults the Garbage Pail Kids a few more times, comes up, and just has this epiphany out of nowhere. She just goes, McBundy's department store is going to give us a fashion show. And I would say, and you have a crystal ball in front of you? Or
Right.
How do you know this?
She even has a logo, a fucking tangerine logo. Before anything's come out, right?
Dude, we should replace the tangerine and put a banana there and have the fucking banana laser.
Brilliant.
Nice.
So yeah, she has this epiphany, and Dodger's like, "Wow, that's great." So I don't know. And how are we gonna do this? You got to get these assholes to sew more clothes. So guys, okay, let's just get to the nitty gritty here. You got a Garbage Pail Kid movie. You could have expected anything, honestly. I mean, they could have just went through a bunch of them, and they all did their thing that are on the cards in certain situations, then went to the next group, and they all did their things. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck you would do. But what do you guys think of, we're making a Garbage Pail Kid movie, what should we do with these guys? Let's have them sew clothes.
That's mind-boggling how they came to this kind of plot. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, and that's like the major part of the movie is them making clothes for Dodger, who's giving them to Tangerine because he wants to bang her and stuff like that. It's fucking insane. I don't get this at all. How do they even know how to do this shit? If they're Garbage Pail Kids, they're kids. Kids wouldn't know how to do this stuff. Kids would know how to, maybe at best steal a truck. But make clothes, like that's fucking a trade that you learn. How did they know this shit?
They're
It's
time
crazy.
travelers. I told you.
They're
time
they're
traveler.
constantly kids. They never
I guess,
age.
just like
Yeah.
the guy. I bet that guy is like centuries old too. It's totally the same thing because he talks about
Who,
old school
Captain
things.
Manzini?
Captain Manzini's centuries old. It's
Dude,
like a Twilight
I
Zone
have so many questions about Captain Manzini.
All right, go ahead. What?
Well, what is this deal? I mean, okay, so he believes in black magic and he practices black magic and he runs a shop. Okay, got it. What does this shop sell? Stuff? Just
Shit.
trash?
Antiques.
Yeah, okay. Antiques. He runs an antique shop. Okay, got it. So he's into black magic. Why? I don't understand where any of this comes from. He has this friend named Dodger. I don't get any of this. How any of this connects? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Dodger works for him.
Right.
He has a job. That's
After school job.
Oh, he
That's how they
works
met.
there?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't get that. Okay.
Yeah, they established it in the first 15
Oh,
minutes.
there you
of
go.
the film.
I was sleeping during
Yeah,
that.
he goes, how long have you worked for me? He goes, a couple months. And he goes, have I ever forbidden you to touch any of my objects?
Yes.
Especially
Yes.
my cock? I never forbid you to touch my cock,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
While
Okay,
the credits are still rolling, by the way, they're having this conversation.
Dude, 10 minutes in, the credits
Yes.
are still coming up on the screen.
Imagine that many people were involved with this.
Oh,
It was so
they just
slow.
really took their time with
Yeah.
putting it. Let's wait on putting the director up there until a pivotal moment in the movie.
Yeah, when he's dusting off a teddy bear.
How about this? How about they have to put clothes on to go out because they're going to be in disguise? Like, them changing outfits is going to change their fucking appearance. How ridiculous they look.
Fucking Ninja Turtles here. They put on the trench coats and the fucking hats. And nobody, even if you had those heads, even if I, at 5'9", if I had a head that size or that shape, people would stop in their fucking. I would stop traffic with a head like that, and to think that no, they're cool if you see 7 3-foot tall people, I guess, walking around with heads as big as watermelons in trench coats, and they're all dressed exactly the same. You would think nothing of this.
Hey, it worked in E.T. when they had to go out on Halloween and they just threw a sheet on them. So, and kids love that movie. Let's just kind of do it here. It's fine.
You're right. E.T. did pass his Gertie for a few hours to her own mother.
Yep.
Like her own mother wouldn't have realized it wasn't her exact height, you know?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just
awesome.
insane. Yeah, you know.
Trip, man, it's a trip.
Yeah, and did you guys notice the John Carl Buechler painting in the background on the brick wall when they go up and down the stairs to the basement? And they have a ghoulie is on his shoulder or something.
Really?
That picture was in the movie Troll, I think. That same
What?
exact painting, yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
So-
shit.
This totally was supposed to be horror, and they just didn't do it.
I'm glad
Glad
they
you
didn't
did.
make
Yeah.
it, you know? It wouldn't have worked.
Oh, what, horror?
It would have bombed in the worst way. I mean, this is a bomb, but I get joy out of it. If it was a horror movie, it just would have been abysmal, I think.
Yeah? It might have
Yeah.
been a cult classic, man.
It should be a cult classic as it stands. Matter of fact, I hope people hear the show and
Get into this.
It takes off and more people start watching it because it deserves to be a cult classic. That's exactly what this movie is to me.
It's funny and weird and awkward and all that, but imagine if they were evil and actually causing harm to people, and more so, and stuff like that. Wouldn't you like it better if they were like killing people and stuff like that?
So what? You want to have fucking 7 Chuckies running around? It just wouldn't work.
Yeah, right? Yeah, what are they going to do? Fart in their face till they die?
Imagine Chucky times 7, you know?
Yeah. You're right. Messy Tessie covers them in fucking snot. They can't breathe or whatever. Valerie Vomit throws up on them until they can't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They do that anyway in this movie, and it works for
I guess you're right. Yeah.
Believe me, I wish they could pull it off as horror. Obviously. I'm a horror fan, but I just don't think...
Remake!
No, there you go.
Yeah. So, basically, they say they think they're going to the fashion show, and they say, oh, we'll go as clowns. They think if they dress up as in clown costumes, that will pass as okay. Yeah, so instead of doing that, Tangerine convinces Dodger to, no, let's just lock them in the basement, and they're not going to go anywhere. We'll give them fucking pizza later, and they'll shut the fuck up.
Pizza. Like they're Ninja Turtles.
Right, yeah.
That's great.
So they lock them in the basement, and then they just start playing cards and shit. Dodger goes, this and that. And then we find out that Tangerine somehow, even though Dodger was with her for the majority of the time, she gives Juice the key to the basement. And then they go and kidnap 8 freaks. Or 7 freaks. And
which apparently is really easy. They do it it's never really shown how they do it, but yeah.
He's like... And they just walk up. Greaser Greg walks upstairs. Hey! And they all panic. And then that's
hey, walk into this giant bag I have. And I'm going to take you to the candy store or something.
Yeah, and I didn't see these guys have 8 bags on them either, or 7 bags on them either, by the way. So.
Oh, Greaser has a knife. We should have got a scene out of that,
Yeah, cut it open. Yeah, right.
Yeah, something.
Get out of the bag. So Juice basically turns them into the Stay Home for the Ugly for a couple $100 or whatever. So they find out that they killed all their friends. That's what we find out. And then Juice goes to the fashion show. And then Dodger finds out that Tangerine turned on him and gave the kids up to Juice. And they're in the Stay Home for the Ugly. And then Juice... here's the amazing part of Juice. He's standing there. And once Dodger finds out that they went to Stay Home for the Ugly, he takes a swing at Juice. And this guy does not budge a centimeter. He stands perfectly still, doesn't blink, does nothing to Dodger's punch as if he is the most irrelevant piece of shit in the world. Wally catches the punch. They take him. He says, lose him. They throw him in a dumpster. He gets out of the dumpster a second later.
Oh, yeah, right? That was useful. Let's derail him for 30 seconds, That's our plan.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Like, nothing happens to him. So, here's the thing, though. What do you guys think? What was Tangerine's motivation? Don't they need to keep sewing? Wouldn't it be in her interest to keep these guys safe? Like, how did she think this would play out?
Yeah.
Wow,
right?
I didn't think about that. Because she had to give Juice the key, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because she locked him up. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, what a dumb bitch. Huh, I didn't even think about that.
Was she thinking that she was gonna... Did it matter what happened once she got famous? She was gonna get famous off this one fucking,
batch of clothes?
Yeah.
And then she could get actual children to sew her clothes for her. Instead of these weird alien kids. Okay.
Yeah, but clearly Garbage Pail Kids has such amazing fashion sense that you need them to create the new clothes.
Those hot dog hands and shit, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even get to the campfire thing, like when he was like they're just sitting there talking about nothing. Hey, where's my hot dog? You ate it. No, I didn't. You ate the evidence. I can't prove it. My tummy aches. What did you eat? Everything.
Everything.
That'll do it all right. It's just the most inane conversations ever.
And the next scene, they all have fucking, ice packs on their heads. They're like, I'm hungover.
Yeah, do you have anything for a hangover?
Every one of them had a fucking ice pack, the same ice pack. Oh, it was great.
Yeah, what the fuck did the rest of them do that they need a hangover remedy?
Well, they were at the bar, so Allie was drunk. We know that. Alligator was drunk at the end. He was stumbling and shit. A drunk alligator.
Children's movie, and the main children characters are drinking with bikers. A biker. And getting drunk.
That's it, man. This is as much of a children's movie as Pee-wee's Big Adventure was when it came out.
Oh, please. That was way more of a children's movie.
Yes, but a 13-year-old could be into it, too. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's what I'm saying about this movie.
Right.
You know, but I think this is targeted more towards 13-year-olds.
Dude, that movie, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and this one go hand in hand. I've watched them both. Oddly enough, believe it or not, I've probably watched Garbage Pail Kids more.
Wow.
I don't know how, but I probably did. And I watch both of those movies almost every year of my life, and I've Pee-wee's Blu-ray and all that shit. Yeah, like crazy. So it's funny that you said that. So Dodger goes back to the biker bar, asking the biker dudes for help. He knows they're in the Stay Home for the Ugly. Got to break them out. The bikers get their Harleys. They pull the window apart with chains. The kids get out, and then they crash the fashion show. What do you guys think about that scene?
I actually laughed a lot at this scene, and I don't think it was because of the Garbage Pail Kids' jokes or anything like that. I just thought about filming on the set that day because it had pandemonium of everyone just running around and stuff like that, and I just imagined one single shot. Okay, we're filming this shot. Wendy Winston's going to fart or something like that, and everyone around them is running all over the place. And I just imagine like extras just running back and forth in front of the camera. You know, it's like, it's got to be pandemonium, but there's only 5 people here. Okay. So you guys just run back and forth constantly and just act crazy.
I was thinking the same thing. When I was watching them run back and forth, like I watched this about an hour before we started recording this, I was looking at the people in the background and imagining the filming of this. That's so weird that you said that.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That thought didn't even occur to me, but now that you brought it up.
I don't know why it popped in my head.
How about Juice? Why does Juice make fucking Tangerine do all that shit and then act like he's mad that fucking she's in collusion with him?
Yeah, he's like, he rips her necklace off and goes, that's for
Yeah, she's putting him up to it. She's giving, pardon me, he's putting her up to it. She's bringing him money from the clothes that are being made by the kids. So it's a whole fucking scheme, a scam, whatever. What the fuck?
Yeah, he even says that. He goes, it feels lousy. And she goes, what? He goes, abandoning my principles for money. And she goes, principles? He goes, letting the little creep live. Like, he even acknowledges that this is all part of a plan. And he still is pissed at her. Juice has
hysterical, man. I don't know. That's the answer. It's another one. There's a dozen of them, man. You know? That's the beauty of this movie.
It's amazing. It's amazing. This movie is incredible. So now, if you had a picture, if you're writing this movie and you go, okay, so the kids are going to crash the fashion show, what would they do to get back at Tangerine for stealing their clothes and locking them away and what she's doing? How would they get back at her? What would you come up with? In this children's movie, we rip them off the models and expose them half naked.
That was crazy.
That's right.
With one swipe, the entire outfit of these models came off, and boing, there's a bikini underneath. Hello! Yeah. Oh my god, that show was funny.
So Valerie Vomit gets to do her famous vomit finally. She gets punched in the stomach, vomits all over Wally and Blythe. That was a pretty cool scene. I guess, right? You guys like that? It was a good payoff, I guess, of her name, since you didn't see her throw up once in 90 minutes.
And she came correct.
Yeah, and then you get a classic Ralphie versus Scott Farkas scene where Juice and Dodger get into it, and they start fist fighting. With the help of the Garbage Pail Kids, Dodger gets the upper hand, punches the shit out of Juice. Captain Manzini stops him, just like Ralphie's mother in Christmas Story, and they pull him off, and he's crying about it.
Very good. Wow. Yeah, you're right. That is Christmas Story.
Yeah. How about the triumphant ending where Manzini finally has figured it out? I don't know what he's been doing this whole fucking movie. Just trying to figure out the fucking how to get these Garbage Pail Kids back in the pail. He's finally figured it out. He's going to play this song backwards. I actually kind of giggled at this part. When he's playing the song backwards and they're all like, oh man, well, I'm totally getting sucked in, and they just leave. And they ride off triumphantly on motorcycles. I'm surprised there wasn't like an ending like you know that movie Mac and Me, which was like an E.T. ripoff?
Where they walk away from and their weird asses are sticking out.
Yeah, but there was like a something at the end that said "We'll be back," essentially in like a sequel. I'm surprised there wasn't anything like that in this movie. Like, don't worry, we got Garbage Pail Kids 2 already planned. It's written and everything. We'll be back next summer. And then it's like, wow.
Well, here's the cool thing about this show. Coming up are 2 interviews after this review, and I interview as if you don't feel like you got your fill of Garbage Pail Kids in the last hour and a half, or 2 hours actually with the intro. Wow, this is a fucking long ass show.
Who would have thought that? I thought we'd be fucking an hour and out. Wow.
I interviewed Dodger and Juice.
Man, at the same time? Did they kick each other's ass?
No, they're still at it, and I couldn't get them in the same room together. Dodger called in, and Juice visited the dungeon. But so, yeah, it turns out there was a sequel planned if this movie did well. But because they pulled it with the commercials and stuff, they just said forget it.
Oh shit!
Not surprised. I'm not surprised. With success.
That's the Garbage Pail Kid movie, man. I mean, I'll tell you what. Oddly enough, the last watch I did with this movie, I loved it. You know, it's so weird, man. I really did, and I still acknowledge that it's probably technically. No, I know it's not technically good, but I don't give a fuck. It's all about what I think in my mind when I'm sitting there. So yeah, it could be nostalgia. It could be a lot of things. My overall love for GPK. I don't know. But to me, I rate this movie 5 out of 5. I love it. Dude, I have to love it, right? I mean, I've watched it 40, 50 times.
Wow.
Good God, that's crazy.
Wow.
How could I not love it?
That's like us with The Shining. Imagine that for GP.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Shining and Garbage Pail Kids, same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Same caliber movie. Yeah.
Wow.
I guess, well, Matt will be the big... No, I want a positive ending. So, Matt...
Yeah, exactly. What would I rate this? Yeah. I mean, you know, it's tough to say because I watched, 45 minutes of the movie and I stopped it a couple times and I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. But, by the end of the movie, I finally clicked and I understood how it could be enjoyable as an adult. I finally got it, and the jokes were kind of making me chuckle and stuff like that. And I thought just the oddness of the characters and stuff was pretty funny and stuff like that. So I would give this a 3. I'd say I liked it overall. Yes. Definitely. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right on. Not bad. Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you ask me at the first 30-minute mark of the movie, I'd say no way. It's a 2, maybe even a 1. I was like, this is what the fuck. I didn't remember a single thing about it, and I was like, this is just stupid. Why am I watching this? But it grew on me, and I'm like, okay, I get how this is funny. I'm kind of liking this, so it grew on me. Yep, 3 out of 5.
Awesome,
wow.
Dude. I am thrilled. Now, here's the thing: will you ever watch it again?
I could see myself watching this again. Yeah, under the right, like this time I watched it by myself, and I think that was harder to get through. I think you need to watch this with friends and just be like, hey, let's put this on and just laugh at how stupid this is, and that's the environment you need to watch this in. Like Dave said, you got to catch a buzz and just have fun with it.
Yeah, minimally your chick is enough.
Yeah.
Minimally. But somebody else has to see this.
Somebody else, yeah.
So, Dave, now I'm excited about you, man. So, I am so glad. Now, this is your first time. It's so great that at 40 years old, that you got, and even 3 years from now, you're 40, by the way.
Only me.
But that's going to be your Christ Graber thing.
That's fine. I'll take it.
Courthouse, you're 40 forever.
Constantly 40, yeah.
Yeah. We have to say that. Every birthday show, Matt goes
Coming up.
and Dave is 40.
Yeah.
Matt's 36, Dave's 40. Matt's 37, Dave's 40. So, what do you think about the Garbage Pail Kid movie?
Well, Matt was more generous than I thought. I didn't expect a 3 out of him. So I obviously enjoyed this movie more than Matt did. So I would be amiss not to go higher than 3.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like, you would have to go above Matt.
Right. I was going to say 3. I was going to say 3, and I think with good reason. Because it's the kind of movie, I don't think I could watch this with my wife, unless she was buzzed up. But she, unfortunately, can't get, So,
because her job, right?
Yeah. I will watch it again, for sure.
Awesome.
And I can't wait to watch it with a couple of friends, and I know just who I have in mind. And this type of movie, this should be a cult classic, and it's not. But this should get the attention that fucking Troll 2's gotten. There's no question about it. Troll 2 is a turd compared to this, a fucking turd. And there's more that you hear about. People say they're so bad, they're good. This has so many elements of so bad, it's good. But throw in the 80s and throw in the nostalgia. And if you're my age, or you're us three, all of us, you can appreciate it more because of the nostalgia and the 80s part of it. So it adds another element that makes it, enjoyable. So, yeah, it's a blast.
Shit. Awesome, dude. Yeah, it's amazing. We've actually spent more time talking about the movie than the actual movie is. And
it's a conundrum, this fucking movie.
I'll put this out there because people are probably wondering. Jamie, we did not just talk over her. She had to leave about 30 minutes ago. She has a live show that she does, so she had to dip out. Her ratings, I'm gonna proxy her, and I think she'll say 3.5. I'm gonna say. I think she liked it, right? Didn't she see?
Yeah, she's all about.
Yeah, I think so. And she was a Garbage Pail Kids fan, like you are, Alex. So yeah, I think so.
Minimally 3, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, she might even just say 3, but knowing Matt said 3, you got to go up because.
Once Matt said 3, you have to go up.
Yep, Matt changed. I go. Well, I got to go at least 3.5 now. So.
He literally raised the bar. What's really funny? I'm looking at the DVD cover right here, and it's a garbage can, and you got these sausage fingers sticking out of it, and it's like, it's amazing that they would actually highlight that.
Right.
That has to be the worst part of the costume.
Yeah, look at these shitty effects. Aren't they awesome?
It's got that green fucking color to it, the box, and
The green slime, yeah. It's
right.
like, it's the secret of the ooze, I think.
Exactly.
They're from the same world as the Ninja Turtles.
That's why they like pizza, man.
Yeah, no shit.
Yep.
All right, guys, as promised, we have a very, very special guest on the show. This is the real juice, Ron MacLachlan from the Garbage Pail Kids movie. Ron, thanks so much for hopping on.
Well, thanks for having me on the show, Alex.
Yeah, man. I went to the ends of the earth looking for you, I'd say 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. How did you even get the part of Juice?
I got lucky. How does anybody get a job in LA when you first get started? It was actually my third audition, maybe fourth. I believe it was my third audition in LA, and I got a chance to go meet with Pamela Rack. And I was in LA back then. An audition often would be quick. I mean, you get a call, you've got to be there. Sometimes in a matter of hours. Rarely do you get a lot of time to look at script. In her particular case, a set of sides. The sides would be a portion of a script. My manager Elliot Rich had gotten from her, and I think one of his other clients actually read for her and didn't get a chance because you were going through breakdown services. This is before the computer world. You'd actually have breakdown services, would drop off auditions, or what people were looking for auditions. Managers and agents would take a look at it, start stuffing envelopes and making phone calls and trying to get people in. And I got a chance to meet with Pam. She brought me back the very next day to meet with Rod Amato. And Rod was the kind of guy that when I met with him, he trying to find somebody different, somebody new. And the guy they had slated for the job was the blonde character that played the nemesis in Karate Kid.
William Zabka.
Yeah. He was supposed to be Juice. And last minute I got in there and Rod and I started talking, and we talked about sports and about wrestling and about football and about all kinds of stuff. And the very next day I get a phone call. He Taft-Hartley's me. I get my first job in L.A., my third audition, and I'm the lead in the movie. And it was, I found out that I got the job when I was on spring break with some friends of mine out in Palm Springs.
Wow. That's awesome. And you were 22.
I was 22, yes.
How did you feel when they cast a 15-year-old girl to play your girlfriend in the movie, your love interest? Like, were you, she came off so adult-like. To me, it didn't even faze me. Like, when I saw her with you, that made sense to me. And then when somebody told me that in real life, she's dating Mackenzie Astin, I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Because when you watch the movie, you and her, it goes well. Then you see him and her, and she comes off like a 25-year-old or whatever, and he comes off like he's 13 years old. Like, what was that? What was that like, seeing them date and everything on the set? And then you're bullying him, yet you're dating his girlfriend in the movie.
I didn't think of it like that. It's just going to work, Katie's a wonderful young lady. I mean, I haven't seen her in years, but she's a wonderful young lady that I know of. And her mom was there on set, and it made sense that her and Mackenzie were hanging out together. I mean, I dated people a bit older. At that time. Actually, I turned 23 on the set. I never thought twice about it.
Not even the kissing scene.
That was weird. The kissing scene was weird because her mother was standing right there in front, and here I am. You've got all these people wrapped around you, and they're trying to get a shot. And one of the things Rod had said was, on every single scene, don't let me cut a scene unless I've got your point of view, her point of view, an overall point of view, all these different things. I need that for the editing process. And that was one of the first things he told me when we first started. Well, doing this kissing scene, and they're trying to get, angle the camera here, angle her lips there, my face this way, get a shot. And every time I looked up was her mom, standing there staring at me like I was a horrible human being. It was like, okay, hi.
and on top of that, you're blowing smoke out of your mouth right before you kiss her. And it's like, now, did you actually smoke when you were doing that, or?
I learned how to smoke during that role. They wanted me to smoke. This is 1987. And the idea to be the bad guy, all the bad guys smoked. And I didn't smoke. So they would bring me all these different packs of cigarettes until I'd find one that I could stomach. And I would try to fake smoke, and of course that's not going to last. And it doesn't fly at all. So I eventually learned how to smoke, and by the time we finished, we wrapped on this project, I was a smoker. Been smoking ever since.
So you've been smoking for the last 28 years, all because of Juice?
No, I've been smoking because of me. I just started because of the Juice. I can't blame him or that timeline for what I'm doing today. No.
Right. I interviewed Mackenzie Astin.
Oh,
he said you were a delightful fellow and a genuinely good dude, and he told his story about how he was sweating during the fighting scene you and him were doing, and then you took him in the back so you don't embarrass him in front of anybody, and you taught him about deodorant and how that works. Do you remember doing that?
I remember him and I having a conversation, and my memory's a bit different. I don't think it was about deodorant, but I'll go with deodorant because that's how Mackenzie remembers that particular time. The fighting scene is trying to get Mackenzie pumped up. I'm going to stand there and have this child come running after me and beat me up. Now, you got to get ready for that. Because you get the world's going to see you getting your butt whipped by a 13-year-old child, and you're a 23-year-old man. So I wanted to get him so reveled up and just pumped. So we went in the back and we had a few words to say. I think I got him a little bit ticked off, actually. He hurt his feelings just a bit, but not in a bad way. just to get him really pissed off at me and the character of that. And there was one lady that went to go interfere with the conversation that we were having because I was laying into him. And Rod, and I saw Rod look at me, and I looked at Rod, and Rod took the lady by the shoulder and pulled her aside so we can continue our conversation. And I got Mac livid pissed. And so when I'm standing there, you know, in the middle of this set, and they let him loose, man, he came running. And I said, and I told him, I go, you better knock me on my ass. You better put me on the ground because the whole world's going to laugh when I stand here and your 13-year-old little child just bounces off of me. And he was just getting pumped and revved and pumped. So he starts running and he's screaming. He just jumps inside and I grabbed him and I picked him up and I held him up over me like this. And cut. And then they went for stunt guys for the rolling around at that point. And then the fight was on. We had a blast. And after the fight was over, he just ran up and gave me the biggest hug. He's such a good kid, you know. He just wanted to do good work. One of the things I really enjoyed about working with Mac was I'd bring a football to the set. And I just like football. And he always had these guys that were there to teach him. And at that time, his mom, Patty Duke, was the president of the Screen Actors Guild. So, you know, he was a higher echelon of an actor. It's my first gig, and his family is you know, Hollywood entrenched. I remember I'd be playing with my football, and pretty soon we're playing catch, and we used to hang out, and we would just talk about all kinds of stuff. He was genuinely a wonderful, neat young man to work with. I'd like to work with him again someday if possible. Great guy.
If you guys had a reunion, like you, him, Tangerine, that would be like amazing. So, like you talked about the fight scene, how difficult did you find it to, or is it not? I mean, I don't know, to play it straight when you're fist fighting a bunch of midgets in puppet costumes and they have gigantic heads. Like, how do you stay in reality? Was that a challenge, or you just said whatever? I'll make like this is real. Like, how do you do that?
Jimmy Galfino and I were talking one time. I was asking him about different stuff, and I was working at Dominic's, and he had just got off of playing the heavy in a movie with Christian Slater. What was True Romance? And he was in Hollywood. We were talking, and he said to him, it was just pretending. You know, at that point in his career, it's just pretending. And that was interesting to hear that because I studied with Sandy Meisner, and Meisner says that acting is living truthfully under the imaginary circumstance, but your talent is your ability to believe in the imaginary circumstance. Basically, how deep into the rabbit hole you can go. You get lost in the abyss. For some people, it's just pretending. For other people, they just go off the deep end and they just go into that abyss. For me, in that particular job, you know, I got direction. Rob was very good to work with. I explained what he wanted. Chloe, his daughter, was she would take care of the scripts. She was a script supervisor and come in and say exactly what her dad wanted us to do. And by the time you got there, he would set it up. And then working with Anthony Newley, you know, he was such a joy to bounce things off of, just to talk in general, let alone work. That by the time you got to go hit these guys that were the puppets, it was easy. It was just what you did. They were the ugly little Garbage Pail Kids, and they need to be in the state home for the ugly. Period.
You remember that? Nice. Everybody wants to know, how much did you actually get paid to how much was the bounty?
What for Phil Ficario and company?
$100 each, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was a wad of cash. We walked away from there, went right to the
right to the fashion show.
The fashion show. Thank you. Had to go pick up my lady.
So now you talked about, you know, getting into the abyss and everything. You know, a lot of actors, when they in a movie, you're just picking up. Obviously, you're not seeing the day they were born till when they got to this point. So Juice has such animosity towards Dodger. Like, you would think this kid killed his mother or something. Like, he was so angry at him. What did you even bother building a backstory and trying to find the truth of the headspace of or your anger towards Dodger, or did you just, like you said, on this job you just went there and you held him up and dumped him in the mud and
I went to Hollywood for a reason. I spent some time doing a little bit of studying before I ever got to Hollywood. I did go to college and did try to work on a few things. I do have a history before I auditioned to get this role. And I wish that I would have spent more time to create a deeper backstory that would have been fairer to the craft and to the people you work with. You want to do the best you can. Playing an evil person or a bad person, what you're doing, you don't think of it as evil, or you don't think of it as bad, and you certainly don't think of it as bullying. You think of it as righteous. This needs to be done. And there's a reason why this needs to be done. And you've earned this. And you create that inside. That's the base of why you're doing what... Because you have to justify what you're doing, and it's got to be a reaction to a situation. Like when a person is, I really don't want to take off your fingers, but, I have to take your fingers from you for whatever reason that is. And you're in a movie, you see somebody clipping off somebody's fingers, and you're just being some, horrible human being to another human being. They don't think they're doing something bad. So for me, I didn't think I was doing anything bad when I was jumping all over Mac. Plus, he was hanging out with a girl that's my girl.
Right. And he touched your woman.
Right. He touched my woman, creep.
You touched my woman, creep.
No. It was just... Baby, come on. He's just a kid. He's about 12 years old.
I'm 14. I'm almost 15.
He's not worth the time it'll take to beat him up. Forget him. Come on. Let's go have some fun.
Wish I could help you, baby. But the little creep's gotta be taught a lesson. It's a matter of principle.
So basically, what you're saying is it's a matter of principle.
Absolutely.
It's just how it is. It really is odd because Juice sort of seemed to live by a code. He was like, I wish I could help you, baby, but the little creep's got to be taught a lesson. And it's like, you really had a code, and it's almost as if you could just say that's your motivation.
That comes from... I have to give that to Rod Amato. You got to remember, this is a guy that was Humphrey Bogart's stunt double from World War II forward in Humphrey Bogart's career. I mean, he comes from a generation that everything was a code. And so when he looks at a bad guy to a good guy, there's got to be a reason why you got the white hat and you're playing John Wayne. Another reason why you got the dark hat and you're playing, Charlie Bronson. Well, actually, he never did play bad guys, but he could have. Or Clint Eastwood, or, these guys from that world had a code of how they conducted. When it came to Rod directing this film, he had a particular way he wanted. He would slow down my speech, my cadence. He would have me smoke. He would be careful as to make sure that I was as menacing as he can get away with making me be menacing, knowing that his audience were going to be, children in elementary school. So he was purposely putting me in that predicament and how I was going to be perceived. And he would reshoot something if he didn't get the right look on the face, if he didn't have the piece he was looking for of that puzzle. And I think I got maybe more attention for as much as you saw me in the movie. I got a lot more attention those segments that were in there throughout it.
No, yeah, you were peppered throughout the whole movie. Your presence was felt the whole time, and the way you delivered every line is just perfect. And It's strange because sometimes I wonder when you read the script, how did you see this all being said? Because Juice says things in such a way that most human beings are not in the headspace to know to act like. Like, you acted so closed off, so emotionless, and it was so, interesting to see how, even when you were when you pulled her necklace off and you were like, that's for coming on to him. And it's like, but dude, you had her do that because you wanted the money from the clothes that he was making.
She liked it. Well, if she liked it, it's one thing for her to go do something that I've sent her to do. It's another thing for her to enjoy doing what I sent her to do.
Juice was to believe that Tangerine truly was coming on to him.
Well, it's all about the subtleties of control and how Rod wanted me to be this character. You know, if she's playing on to Mackenzie to Dodger, right? And she's been sent to play up to Dodger. Fine. But if you can feel that she likes Dodger, that's its own different conversation. So now Dodger's no longer a John. Dodger's a guy that she's liking. Well, I'm not going to put up with that. The character Juice being will not put up with that. So you're going to rip across a necklace. You're going to get someone's attention in that character, the way he was meant to be portrayed. That's why he was gruff.
Yeah, he was completely unfair to her. He was even like,
oh, well, my bad.
It feels lousy, abandoning my principles for money.
Principles?
Yeah, letting the little creep live.
He was like, it feels lousy, abandoning my principles for money. She's like, principles? Yeah, letting the little creep live. And it's like, what can I do? I can't win here.
Some of the stuff in this movie cracks me up because it was made for children, yet the content really wasn't for children, especially of that generation.
Yeah, how did you feel about that? You know, it always seems like today the borders get pushed. Everyone's pushing the envelope. It gets worse and worse. Music, every other fifth word is the F word, and pretty soon every third word will be, and then pretty soon the whole song will just, you know, it just gets worse and worse. But somehow you guys managed to make a movie that will never be made again in 1988. Like
87.
87, yeah. The content in this movie is bizarre for children. You got a girl who plays an adult role, basically having this strange relationship with this young boy who she's using to make clothes and use it as like a sweatshop type situation. And you have a sweatshop in the movie. Then you have this whole thing where if you're ugly enough or too skinny or too fat or too weird, you get locked up in an institution and then murdered. Like, what kind of children's movie? You know? And then you have a drug dealer.
Pocket full of posies. I mean, when you go back in history, you start thinking about some of Grimes' fairy tales. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. They're talking about people with the plague. That's probably one of the good reasons, or one of the reasons, why so much of it was banned. So many cities outlawed this film, and of course, once you start telling someone they can't have something,
then
what do most people want? What they can't have. So it gained its notoriety, but not up front. When it first was released, it was, I mean, I've gotten every Rotten Tomato award possible for that particular character.
Oh, just your character? People didn't like him?
Well, you're on my IMDb page. You've seen it. But, and I was apparently murdered just after the movie.
Yeah, they said the guy who played...
Yeah, Greaser Greg. Phil Ficario did that. The movie eventually actually surpassed, with its following, the Rocky Horror Picture Show as the #1 midnight movie for a short period of time, not for long. Rocky Horror is just too good at what it does, and it's going to be there forever. And it is, to me, the quintessential Friday night midnight movie. It is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I mean, who doesn't go see that?
This movie, well, what happened was the parents actually... See, this is strange to me. The movie never even came out, but somehow the parents banned the commercials from being on television. Because I always heard the commercials were taken off television, and that's why it had a poor box office. Because nobody knew it was even out, unless you saw it by walking down the street.
Well, it was one of those movies that went underground fast. Because it was banned by a lot of different places. And it's easy to say it's banned because, hey, it's a horrible movie. Is it really? You know, I mean, no. I heard Mackenzie, you know, wish it was Goonies or whatever he put toward that. It's not. It's GPK. You know, and Mackenzie did a great job of playing Dodger in GPK. You know, yeah, for Mackenzie, for Katie, for myself, for JP, for Marjorie, any of us would love that movie to have been a big hit at that time and springboarded us into a very lucrative, fast-paced Hollywood career like that. Who wouldn't want that? But it didn't. It didn't do that. What it did is it dropped some seeds, and the generation that got it back then is your age. You know, and those guys are the ones that have helped it come back to life back in 2004. Michael
DVD
over at Disney. Michael, what is
Eisner?
What's that?
Eisner.
Eisner. That's it. Thank you. It's late. I've been up all day. Michael Eisner. He bought the rights from MGM. There's an opportunity they might want to make a remake. I hope they do. Just because this generation be kind of cool, the artwork that was done by the artists to create this from Topps Chewing Gum, and it is something that's been off the back burner because it's that movie that nobody really wants to be a part of, but they all want to play with it. It's got a campiness to it that's different than Goonies, and it's different than anything that you can find in that generation or any child movie since, and except for maybe some of the cartoon movies that you see now that are pushing it. And they're pushing it with the cartoons, with the girls with the cute butts and the big boobs and the guys with the big muscles and all that kind of stuff. That's not a cartoon to me. But it is to this generation. I mean, if you watch the games in which they play, I mean, back then we had Miss Pac-Man. You know, it was not that long after Pong. And now look what the video games are like. So for Eisner to make a remake, or not so much a remake, but a sequel to go to whatever step that would be with today's technology, that would be cool.
They're not going to do a remake because nobody wants to see the Garbage Pail Kids sewing clothes again.
Now they might find something out for them to do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. That was the only downfall of the movie, I think. I think that if it is a bizarre storyline. I mean, when you think Garbage Pail Kids, you really don't think of clothing manufacturing and stuff like that. It worked into the storyline of the people, like you and Tangerine and Dodger, and it had its role in the movie. But I guess people just didn't want to see that. I guess they didn't want to see that type of thing for those who didn't like it, and those who get what was going on and they do understand the connection and how it played into real life. Those people can enjoy the movie and appreciate it. And that's what I do. I've always liked the movie. I've been watching it since I was probably, I guess, 8 years old. And now I'm 35, and I have watched it every year of my life, probably. Sometimes 2 times a year. Once I started talking to you, I just had to watch it again. I had the impulse, and it was a billion times better now. When you had your screening of the movie and all you guys came and watched the Garbage Pail Kids, that was the first time you ever saw it. And what was your impression?
Actually, I didn't go to a screening to watch it. I went and saw it at a theater in Woodland Hills because at the time my girlfriend, with her work and where she was at, and it came out, and it just ended up at some theater. We went to go see it. And it wasn't a packed theater at all. And we watched it, and I walked away, the script, I mean, the amount of dailies that we got during that changed from the original script that I received. Who knows how many times it was changed before I ever saw it. To the page differences over the next 9.5, 10 weeks to film it changed so much that it wasn't the same movie that I envisioned it to be by the script itself, let alone watching the work that was on there. And I walked away thinking, okay, I need to do better. I need to get better. I'm here to make a living and to do it as an actor, and I need to be better at being an actor. That was my response to it.
Now, how long? So it took how many months to shoot this movie in its entirety?
About 2.5 months, about 10 weeks.
So that's a long time, right? Because now everything.
It was supposed to be 4 to 6 weeks, ended up taking closer to 10.
Okay. And did anything, not of the ordinary go on during the filming of the movie, or?
Well, we had a union cast and a non-union crew, and so midway through the filming, the crew went on strike. so that they can be brought into the union. Back then, being in union was a huge to-do. I mean, it still is. Being part of the Screen Actors Guild is a wonderful thing for anybody in the industry to be a part of. And those guys, it's called below line. You have above the line and below the line, you got cast and crew. And they went on strike, and they had to get all kinds of paperwork that changed their pay scale, that changed all kinds of things for the guys that were putting all this together. And if you don't have both, you really don't have much. You've got to have a good. Your team is everything, regardless of who you have as your leading actor or who's the best or the guy. If they don't balance, you're not going to get what you want. And it takes a lot of people to put any project together.
So you think the movie took a hit a little bit from that whole behind-the-scenes dispute, maybe?
I don't think it was much of a dispute. The guys, they just didn't want to... They paid the money. They got them in the union. They got what they wanted. It didn't take that long. They could have taken a lot longer. And it's just business.
Months after the movie came out, weeks after, did you get recognized as Juice by a lot of people?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah?
did. It's kind of fun. I, believe it or not, even at my ripe old age of now, I've gotten recognized for that character. But it's interesting. There were kids. I used to live up off of Whitley above Franklin in Hollywood at that time. And I'd walk down Hollywood Boulevard. That's where I lived. And kids that would hold on to their moms, and they would like, oh my God, it's Juice. They'd be afraid of me. I'm like, I'm just the actor, you know. And these kids were afraid of me, and it was kind of funny.
Wow, that must have been amazing. How into the whole fan aspect? Like, did you get fan letters, fan mail, stuff like that?
Yeah, but at that time, the stuff that came, it wasn't like today. You know, everything's internet. Back then, you got actual hard copy letters that would come in. My first fan letter, though, wasn't from Garbage Pail Kids.
Okay.
I actually had done a TV show called Look Who's Talking back in Sacramento. And it was a small little show that, I shouldn't say small. It's not small to the guys that put it together. I mean, a project's a project. And I did print work before I ever got to Hollywood. I was doing print work out of San Francisco, Sacramento. I was from Northern California. And I ended up being Mr. September of Heat Wave 1986. It was a calendar. And it was, all these different, bookstores had calendars and posters of me. And so it was like Local Boy Does Good. And I came into the show, and I was going to Long Beach State at that time. And some young lady liked me, and I signed an autograph thing to her. Well, I received a letter from this, I think, 15, 16-year-old young girl. And I didn't know what to do. It was like my first fan letter. I'm like, wow, what do you do with this, And with a little photograph, the kind of photograph you get from your yearbook, that you'd have put in there, snapped and cut. So I got on a plane, and I flew to Sacramento, and I went to the little girl's house, and I knocked on the door, and she opened the door. She couldn't believe I'm standing right there, and I wanted to say thank you for giving me a fan letter. And I asked her to call her mom. She called because her mom wasn't home. She called. She had some friends over. She called her mom. There was all these friends that showed up, and I hung out for a couple hours with her mom, her friends, this young lady, just to say thank you because it was my first fan letter. And then I went over to visit my folks and then went back to school.
That is great, man. That's an amazing story.
Well, someone takes the time to say, wow, you did something that they liked. I mean, it's just they say thank you to them.
That must have been like the thrill of her life, man. That would be crazy. I can't even imagine.
I don't know. It was just something to
do. Your big scenes, some of your big scenes where you showed that the actor had a sense of humor was the bathroom scene. Now, the Garbage Pail Kids are in the sewer, and apparently just by turning a little knob, water will just come blasting out of a toilet bowl on the exact right one. I don't even know how they knew you were in there. I don't know how they knew which toilet you're on, but man, they really did a good job. Now, what was that like, shooting that? Did you have a stunt double? Because it looked like you.
and it was cold. They had me on a harness, and we shot it at night. We were out in the valley, and despite popular consensus, Los Angeles does get chilly at night if you're not used to being out in somewhat colder weather. And they had this fire hose wrapped up, and they had me on a hoist, and I go into the men's stall, and they blasted me with water, and it was it was fun. I did all the stunts that was in that, from the van being crushed and rolling away from that. Even most of the fighting. The only reason the fighting got changed is because, with Mackenzie and I, what was it, 13, 14 years old at the time? I was 22, 23. You got to be careful with that kind of stuff. So stage fighting. So when we started grappling, they would switch us out. But for the most part, everything else I did myself.
Yeah, you could definitely tell the one time they switched you out. It's when you threw him on this little platform, and then someone goes rolling off, and then you jump on top and then go after him. That's the only time you could tell, because the guy's hair is a little bit tighter. It's not the same hair, and you could just tell. But then it goes back to you guys. So that was pretty cool. Were you there? Because when I interviewed Mackenzie, he said that Tangerine, Katie, she crashed a car on set. Were you there during that?
No, she was a kid. I didn't think she had a driver's license. And from that point forward, everything that was done where she was actually driving that car. From that point forward, she was on a trailer. So they were shooting it from a trailer point of view. So she wasn't allowed to drive anymore.
Yeah, good choice.
But I don't think she knew how to drive a stick. And that was Rob's car. That's JP, who played Wally's brother. He was one of the guys working on the production. Rod Amato's son, Rob. It was his car, his Triumph. Right. She crashed.
Yeah, he must have loved that.
Right into the wall.
Did you ever say to the director? Did you ever go? Now wait a minute. Now I'm a drug dealer. I have lines like, "All right, when the stuff gets over the border, get it to the warehouse." So clearly you're pretty big time. Even if it's small time, it's big enough. You're not just selling weed on the corner by school. Now you're a pretty, established drug dealer. Did you ever say, why am I chasing a 14-year-old kid in broad daylight in the park to steal $2 out of his back pocket? Did you ever try to, challenge the character motivations or scenes like that?
And again, it was 1987. I mean, I live in Colorado now. If I wanted to smoke weed, it doesn't take me but a minute to go down to a pot shop and buy myself weed. That's not my thing. I'm not into that. But if I wanted to, I could. Well, in 1987, if you wanted to get a little dime bag of weed, if you don't know the right person doing the right thing, chances are you're going to be at some park somewhere looking over your shoulder going, hope it's not that bad dirt weed if you just wanted to get high. I mean, things have changed tremendously in the last 30 years when it comes to that kind of stuff. But character, that's the way they wrote it. That's the way we played it.
I know, I'm thinking way too much. I'm sorry. So what do you, I would love to know, I've always wondered so many things about you and how into it you were and stuff like that. What do you think about Garbage Pail Kids stickers and stuff? Did you know about them and stuff, or?
I learned about them at the time. There was stuff that was going on with the generation before me. I was 22, 23 years old.
Right, you were about 7 years too late. Yeah.
So for me, it was work to go to work, and I got to learn while I was there what was this artwork and how it was, and it was different than I'd ever seen before. What I found to be most captivating was the response that the children of that time, and when I mean children, I mean from 6 to 12, that age range, something like that were into it. I was I thought that was kind of interesting and kind of cool.
After the Garbage Pail Kids wrapped, you stayed in the business and you did an episode of Silk Stockings. Tim Thomerson was in it and things like that. And when you go on IMDb, obviously I did, trying to contact you, pretty much all you see is the Silk Stockings thing. So what have you been up to in the since then? I guess, did you do things that they did not update the IMDb, or did you leave the business? What have you been busy with since then?
Well, my IMBD page is not complete. That's correct. It's not. And that's got a lot to do with me and some things that happened over the last several years. Has to do with Elliot, my manager, passing away. Choices being made through why I'm here in Denver and not in Los Angeles. Life comes at you and you make a choice of which route you're going to go. When GPK was over, I was serious. I wanted to get better at what I do. So I went and studied with Meisner in the West Indies. I got a chance to go spend some time just to try to figure out on a couple of different pilgrimages what is art. So I went to Europe to do that. So I wrote and produced theater plays, had my own production company, and did this way to grow as an actor. And eventually I had to make a couple of choices. There's a few projects that are not on there. And I decided being a father is the most important thing I can be. So that's what I do. I'm a dad. I still write. I have a production working with a buddy of mine out here in Denver, Michael Goodness, and we're putting together a show, which you helped inspire, by the way. There's one project that's going on, and it's called Get the Real Juice. No offense, but it is Get the Real Juice. And we should be up and running relatively soon for our first true episode in the next couple of weeks. We'll be putting that together.
So it's called Get the Real Juice, and now this is going to be a show. What kind of show? It's going to be a video, internet?
It's going to be an internet show. It's going to be on the internet, and it's a journey. Basically, it's a journey. And I am Juice, so it is getting me. So it's a journey that we're going to take on different things that can be kind of fun. It's a 2-year cycle that we're looking at putting together. It has to do with our country, how we see it, or how I see it, what I want to share with my children and with the public as well. It's got a lot to do with having some fun, putting some work together.
Why did you want to do this show? Like, what struck you that you said, you know what, I want to do a show. I can cover a lot of, different topics here, and, I think we have something going here. What made you want to do that?
It's a great question. I love the why question. And it's pretty simple. You got to figure how much time do you have in your life and what you're going to do with it, right? Well, for productivity, for me, probably 2/3 is done. I maybe have a third left, in all honesty. What am I going to do with the life I've lived to have a better third? What am I going to leave for my kids and for my children? So one of the things that we're going to work on this show happens to be the separation and division of our country. It's vast. We've got people that are just voting a party line because that's what they were raised. Maybe that's not so bad, maybe it's not so good. But the way we're working right now, the further and further our country gets away from each other, the more volatile it becomes. So how do we put America first and work from there to try to take the ether out of that process? And the concept is to put together, a right side, a left side, and put it on the table and see what we can bring from the audience, what they think about different subject matters. We want to walk that process. We want to have some fun and let you and I continue to work with each other. Part of the show is going to be about a movie review. And so you and I will get a chance to get online and we'll do it the Redbox movie review. Why not? More people, I think, will spend $2 and get a disc and put it in a DVD to have their popcorn and a cheeseburger at home than spend $20 a person to go see a movie. So hindsight being 20/20, we get a chance to take a look at some of these movies and say, wow, how the guys up front were saying it's going to be a blockbuster, but it kind of sells south. Well, this one was never supposed to do anything, but it's got a big following. So we'll get a chance to take a look at that and maybe discuss a few things. And this will also be a great time for you and I to talk, because you can ask me about different things going on in Hollywood back in the time that I was spending there. That'd be for a fun conversation. We're going to start with those 2 segments to start with, and we're going to keep flowering those segments and seeing where they grow and see how the show actually goes forward. It'll be a lot of fun.
Wow, yeah, no, it sounds great, man. And I'm definitely looking forward, and thank you for, inviting me on to...
No. We'll have a good time.
Just let's stay away from romantic comedies, then I'll be all good to go, man. I don't know how many times I can see Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler and friggin' what's his name, Vince Vaughn. But so, have you ever produced anything before? Like, is this your first foray into this?
No, actually, I worked with Elliot Rich, my manager, back in the early '90s, and we put together. I have a theater company, Theatron. Theatron Productions is a company that I own. And we put together a series of shows that we put through AGVA and a nightclub called the Opera House, or the Opera, on Santa Monica. And it was for AIDS Hospice Los Angeles. And we raised a lot of money to try to help put together help with the people in that process. Eventually, AIDS did catch Elliot, and I caught up with him, and he passed away with that situation. But then. And written a few things, just stuff. Nothing to write home about, but work. Yes.
Hey, you're working. So besides this show, that would keep you busy. But do you have other things on the table?
Actually, yeah. There's one project that I've been working on that I'd like to finish up this winter. I need to get it off my table, and it's it's a writing project that's kicking me in the teeth more than once. That I'll reserve for it to be finished. I got another job. No, I wouldn't say job. Another conversation that opened up last week, and it's a soft conversation at the moment, but I'm looking forward to where this goes, and it'll be kind of fun. And that I don't want to talk about either because it's too soft. There is another production company out here in Denver of a guy that Mark Grove I like a lot, and we talked about maybe getting together and putting something together in the future. And I wouldn't mind doing something with Mark. He's a pretty neat guy. He does quite a few different film pieces himself.
What do you mean? What does that mean? Too soft?
Oh,
what does that mean?
A soft conversation. It's not on paper. It's sort of like when you go on let's say you go on that date, and if it's the first conversation, you're kind of hooked up by one way or another, and you've got the cell phone in the background. You're going to meet for that 5-minute conversation to see if you like somebody before maybe you go out and make an event out of it. So we're at a soft conversation point right now. So we're seeing how that blossoms up. And the project I don't want to go into because it's... it'll be a lot of fun, and I don't want to jinx it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that sounds great, man. Like I say, did a great job as Juice. I'm really looking forward to get the real Juice. That's coming out soon, like you said, in a couple of weeks. We're going to keep everybody updated on that. It's just like a dream come true to have you on the show. I never thought, ever, that this would happen, so thank you so much for coming on, man. Really good time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very, very much. Enjoy the evening, and thanks, Alex. Have a good night.
This is Mr. Skin from MrSkin.com with all the skinfo from the latest movies. Nude on Blu-ray, it's the first season of Showtime's skinsational new horror series, Penny Dreadful. In addition to a demon-possessed nude scene from the lovely Eva Green, we also welcome the nude return of Billie Piper, who bears her piping hot body. Penny Dreadful will put a roll of quarters in your pants.
This is the Mr. Skin Minute.
Nude on Showtime, it's the debut episode of the new series, The Affair. As a philandering waitress, Ruth Wilson serves up a side order of TNA while gearing up for an extramarital affair with Dominic West. While Ruth goes west, your hand will be going south. Nude on Cinemax, it's more period pieces on the hospital drama, The Nick. Not only did blonde Brit babe Juliet Rylance make her topless debut, but Ying Ying Lee also flaunted full frontal while serving up some opium. Juliet and Ying Ying will make your ding-ding sing-sing.
MrSkin.com. Fast forwarding to the good parts.
All right, guys, we're back with listener letters. Yay! Yay!
Yay!
Well, a lot of people, as we're coming to 100, they really want to get a lot of things in. So
I think we're just going to get blasted. Some stuff is pretty straight up, and they kind of ask some poignant questions, too. Your show has changed so much. What do you attribute that to? And earlier in the email, they mentioned the difference between 2013 and 14, and I actually made a post about that on Facebook. Well, Jamie, what do you attribute to? I think there's a very clear difference. I mean, there's on the surface differences, and there's behind the scenes differences.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's hard for me, obviously, to, from the time that I wasn't here, well, let's see, was I here all of 2013? Yeah, I started in January, right? Mm-hmm. January, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know exactly what was going on.
No, trust me, he's not asking about Michael J. Well, Jamie doesn't do as many sound effects. She doesn't know all the dates of the movies that when they were made or the minute marks.
I don't like pants.
Yeah, she doesn't hang pants on her wall. Yeah, it's simple. The crew was always known as a pretty mainstream. We were trying to get a wide audience, obviously. That was always the goal. Whenever you start anything like this, you want an audience. Because otherwise, I might as well just talk to my friends in real life. Why am I recording this and producing it and doing, and putting a, why would I waste my time? So obviously, I'd rather have more and more listeners. Otherwise, what's the point? In starting, we wanted to keep things mainstream. But as that went on, we did a lot of retrospectives, a lot of interviews, a lot of mainstream movies, and as time went on, you
evolve.
You evolve. You feel stifled in ways, and you feel like, well, I want to what else is out there, and I want to know things I don't know. And as a show, we want to explore. So we were all willing to go ahead and just do things we never did, and a lot of things we did were list shows. Best of this year, that year, whatever. What are the obscure movies? What are misunderstood movies? What are top worst? What are our top worst? So that way we could cover a bunch of movies and not just review one or two a show. So obviously we talked a lot more about horror and different movies.
When this year we introduced more obscure things, like we talked about older stuff too, like when we did the Cronenberg thing, that's going way back and stuff, and it's definitely pointing away from the Halloween Friday the 13th.
Exactly.
And of course, then we did the major Halloween versus Friday the 13th, which I absolutely loved. I think that was an approach that had never been done before, and it basically proved why Friday the 13th is a superior franchise, because it totally is. And why, I think it's just obvious in the fact that there are more installments, because it works. And so we weren't afraid. Like, we had no idea how that was going to come out. We really didn't, because when we were putting this show together, and you and I did some brainstorming before we actually did the show, but you created the backbone of that show, and so you knew the format going in, but we really had no idea what anyone was going to say when we recorded that show. So the way it came out was the way it came out as we were going through it, and it was really interesting, because I didn't even know what I was going to say when we pitted those shows against each other, and then you actually start talking about them. And so that was really fun and fascinating. So in that respect, we talked about things that people were familiar with and that had been covered on the crew before even, but in a completely different way. And so I think that this year what we've tried to do is to insert new, more interesting elements. There were some skits, which I think was really fun. Mm-hmm. We actually did some line readings, which was really fun. So we're just basically breaking away from, or attempting to break away from, the stuff that people are used to hearing about, because everyone talks about Halloween all the time, and so we were trying to introduce some new, lower budget, lesser known films. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you were really good for that, because you always have your eye out. You're always looking for new stuff to talk about. And so you injected a lot of those and brought them to the forefront. And you threw stuff at me that I hadn't even heard of, that you're like, hey, this new movie just came out. We're going to cover it. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm totally willing to. But by doing that, you allow yourself to possibly discover something that could become a new favorite.
Right.
So rather than just stick to the same stuff that people already know about, I think what we attempted to do was mix it up and keep it interesting and keep it fun.
Yeah. We talked about Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. You know, Jamie did a mini review of that. Top 20 worst horror movies. So then we got to talk a lot about that, shit like that. So, Secret Window, Pet Sematary, It. As big as It is, nobody talks about the movie It. Then we did a Scream retrospective. That's still mainstream. That's back to normal. Then we go to Camp Dread. We did the Friday the 13th skit where we created a virtual reality. I don't think that's ever been done. I know it's been done in skits. I don't think it was ever... No one has ever done a fully produced segment ever, I don't think.
Oh, and that was really a lot of fun to listen to when everything was all added together. And it was a lot of fun to do, too. I had a really good time doing those.
The Stuff, Popcorn, The Sacrament. We did Camp Dread. We did the Cronenberg movies, The Broad and Scanners. Nobody really talks about that. Or Brood. I caught myself. We did Let the Right One In. We did Inside. I mean, what have we not done here? So the only thing left...
Live Sacrifice.
Well, we actually remember that you guys died at the end of the one show?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I can't believe the ambulance heard the show and showed up that quick. And I'm so glad that somebody actually figured out that I shot myself 2 times, which makes absolutely no sense. Jared said, I don't understand. You put a gun in your mouth and pulled the trigger, and then it went, then you hear, like, if it was really that real, I don't think you would have got that second shot off.
Well, sometimes people miss. You know, it's an imperfect art.
So, okay, next question. Why do you think you hate zombie movies? Jamie, why would someone hate zombie movies?
Well, I don't personally, but I can say that people probably hate them now, possibly because of oversaturation, possibly because the more recent zombie films that have come out, and there has been an onslaught of them, and a lot of them kind of miss the point of what is so good about zombie films. To me, a successful, good zombie film has more to say than there are dead people walking around. And that's why I love the good ones. And then so what we've gotten more recently is just a bunch of dead people eating people, and they kind of miss the point. But if you just don't like zombies in general, I don't know. I mean, maybe some people think that slow moving things aren't scary, you know, or maybe they think it's so unrealistic that they can't relate to it. You know, that's another thing too, you know, but personally, I have always found them to be really scary, the good ones. And the reason for that, for me, is that you could replace zombie with anything, like, you know, any kind of apocalyptic event, you know, just replace the zombies with something else. And what ends up being the scariest part about it is actually human versus human, is how we end up treating each other and how we end up dealing with a situation on a global scale, and how scary it is when society, and how easily society could just shut down, you know, and then what, you know, and then you're left with limited resources and you're clawing at each other's throats. And to me, that is the scariest part about it. So that's what I like about it. But maybe some people just aren't willing to, or don't find it easy to be able to relate to it on that level. So it's something that they just think, well, it's not scary to me because it's not real.
Yeah. Well, see, I was actually asked you because I want you to help me answer this. Because I never thought about it.
Did it help at all?
Yeah. No, it did. I actually was pondering a lot, wondering if that's the answer. I don't really necessarily think it's that I don't find it scary. I don't think finding something scary is what makes me like it at all anyway.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, so it's not... That wouldn't be my answer. Relatable. Yeah, I mean, there are... I don't really relate. I don't really... Maybe it's the characters that have been in these movies, like the normal people, I just don't click with. Maybe that's it. Maybe I need to identify with my killer. Maybe I need to have a connection with my, I have to appreciate a nuance, and there's an individuality, and I'm a very deep person when it comes to human connection, which is why I like shows like Sons of Anarchy and stuff. Like, it's very deep and spiritual, and that's what I'm really into. which is why I like Norman Bates and Larry Talbot the most out of like everybody.
I love that you like Larry Talbot.
Oh, yeah.
That just endears me so much to you. 'Cause he's one of my favorite characters. He's an amazing character.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, maybe it's, can you not feel sympathetic toward the villain in that situation because there is no humanity in them? They're just...
like machines, sort of, like robots.
Basically, yeah. So do you find that you are more, that you enjoy it more when you can be sympathetic toward the villain himself? You know, when you can find something relatable in him.
Right, relatable, or I could see from his point of view. What am I seeing from wild fucking rabid people? Like nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, so
that's why the successful ones will point you to the humans and their interactions in those films. And the zombies themselves in a successful zombies film are really just backdrop. And but I can totally get that.
Yeah.
You know, basically they may as well be under siege by robots.
Right. Yeah. So that must be the answer, dude. I don't know. That's it, I guess. What does Jamie have to say about all this 100 and out stuff?
I'm sad. You know, the Skeleton Crew has been an important part of my life. Alex has been an important part of my life, and it makes me sad to think that could come to an end. And I don't know. I mean, the Skeleton Crew listeners have also been an important part of my life, and I don't want any of that to end. I'm not in any way looking forward to it. But
yeah, neither am I. I mean,
it's not like a happy, throw off your graduation cap, run out the door kind of thing.
We are done. Thank God. Like, we have no actual obligation here. Just so everybody knows.
Everything we do is out of love for the genre, for our listeners, for just spending time together and talking about stuff together. And so, no, I mean, it's not something that all good things come to an end at some point. And there are other things on the horizon. I guess sometimes you just have to move on and do other stuff.
Yeah, well, that's one question, a couple down. I guess I'll just put that one to now. This is kind of, I think, hostile, but okay. How will you feel when this is over? Can someone like you truly be fulfilled just being a third man on a show after being a driving force behind a successful show like The Crew?
But you're more than a third man on Banana Laser. You may not be doing the heavy production stuff that you're doing here, because you certainly have been the backbone of the show, and it sounds as good as it does, and it comes off as fun as it does because of you. But going on Banana Laser is not just throwing you in as the third guy. That is, you have a relationship with the two of them, and you guys click very well. It's going to, what it's doing is taking some of the pressure off of you while you still get to do the fun, enjoyable parts. I don't really see anything negative about it.
Guys, I don't see that as a fucking demotion here. I mean, I'm still here. I mean, it's not like this show fell apart and I was like, oh shit, what the fuck do I do now? Well, that show's doing good. Hey guys, would you mind? I know I'm just a fucking piece of shit loser, but can I be on your show? Like, that's not at all what happened.
Right, and this is also something that came about after. This was not. It's not you're throwing away the Skeleton Crew so you can become third guy on this show.
Right.
This was a decision that was made completely separately from that one, and then you were presented with the opportunity to be able to join that show, and so you took it, which I cannot. That's a good thing. It's a great thing. You guys are all fantastic together.
Thanks.
So, there's really nothing negative.
No, I don't know if they even mean it negatively. I guess they're just thinking that, someone who comes up with all these ideas or whatever, and like maybe they're seeing this show as an outlet of mine to
sure.
creativity. Yeah, I guess.
Do you feel you're going to be stifled? But no, I think that they're going to offer you just as much creative power as you want, as you're willing to take on. You have just as much input into that show as there I am answering your question again. I'm sorry.
No, because even you could see the answer to this. Like, that's exactly right. So hopefully everybody understands exactly what that is, just like you do. It's great. I love being on that show just as much as I love being on this one. I love even more the fact that I'm not taken on all the shit, man. Like, Matt is doing all the stuff I do here, and it is amazing. And it's the only reason that the crew would even stop, because the freaking production and edits and shit like that, it just, guys, you don't even know how many hours and how tedious it is. And to think that, you know, you start doing this and you don't even realize that that's what you're in for. And then once you're in it, and it's like, wow, dude, this is what you have to do now forever because you started a show and you cannot finish it now. So now you're stuck doing this the rest of your life. And when you see it that way, it's like, oh my God, I love being on here with Jamie and when Dave comes on and stuff like that and all our friends come on. I love it. But once we turn the mics off, man, it's just not as fun as you think. Or I don't think anybody thinks it's fun because it's not. And it's fun creating and producing, but it's not fun editing and producing. But, you know, it's a bunch of stuff. So, next question. Jump the Shark was one of the greatest specials you ever did. I cannot believe that you haven't done one in over 60 shows or so on. How come you didn't wrap up the show with a Jump the Shark at some point?
It's something we talked about.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's just, the honest answer is because by the time we talked about it and really got into, like, doing it, we would have to watch about 8 movies and then have notes for all those movies and then produce that big, long show. And with the time constraint we have to get everything done by October 31st, it just wasn't time for something like that. When will you guys do a top 10 favorite horror movies list? I want to hear top 10 from each of you, not a combined list.
Ooh, they're very specific.
And I remember somewhere else in the email, it was just, I just cut out the questions. It was something like, we've been listening for such a long time. I just would like, we do have a sense of who you are, but we would like a better sense of where you're coming from. If we knew your top 10s, we would understand why and how you view everything like you do.
I get that, and that's something I would be willing to do if we have the time to do something like that. I mean, I don't think it would be too hard to just run through them.
Right. Yeah, maybe we could do it on a future show. We have like 3-4 left, right? Where are the commentaries?
Good question.
We had one, but we decided that we should keep things not open-ended. We wanted to have them close-ended. So we did not release the commentary. Okay, and I got one full email from Christian Jarquin. We had a little discussion prior, and then he said some really nice things about the show. And I just want you, Jamie, to hear these things because it's very nice, and you should know them. He said, there is a reason the Skeleton Crew has the most hits on the network. You're just better. Like Dave said, the best thing about podcasts is that anybody can do them. The worst thing about podcasts is that anybody can do them. Your show and Banana Laser are the only 2 shows on the network that I listen to consistently. Not only because of the production value, but also the entertainment value. Even when you're not reviewing movies, imparting your opinions on miscellaneous topics or doing skits, which are great by the way, your sporadic and idle chatter is among the few things that make me laugh. Jamie truly made the show better when she joined.
Aww.
Now that I've got the chance, I'll go ahead and let you guys know. It goes without saying, I'll miss the podcast when it ends. I wish you guys would continue doing it, but I understand that it's a time-consuming thing, and you have lives. Congratulations on your engagement, Alex, by the way. Thank you.
Aww.
Thank you, sir. I know I can still listen to you on Banana Laser, and Jamie is on Devour, among other shows, but it won't be the same. All in all, I'm glad to have discovered the podcast. The crew had a great run, and I certainly enjoyed it. I'll be listening to your final show on Halloween night, and I wish each of you guys well. Your loyal bonehead, Christian.
That is so sweet. That really is.
Yeah, I was blown away.
Wow.
Just like in life, when you're friends with people, when you sense that you have a real connection and you become best friends with people, that is it's a natural high, and it's something it's a great feeling, and it's the same feeling I get when we connect with people who gave us a chance. Even the fact that you bothered to listen to the show, because most people don't do that with anything, and then you also clicked is just friggin' amazing. So
yeah, liking it is also on that network, by the way. I'm kidding. That really is I'm just grinning. That is such a sweet thing. I love it so much. Thank you.
But Jamie, you must be jaded when people say that you made the show so much better. I mean, you know that, no offense, but it wasn't very hard to do. You didn't have much competition, so you couldn't possibly feel the satisfaction of hearing something like that, right?
Well, no, of course I do. I mean, okay, the converse of that is for someone to say the show was really awesome until you got there, then it sucked.
Right.
So for them to think, for someone to say that they actually felt like I did something by being here, that I wasn't just here, that there was a purpose for my being here, that makes me feel wonderful. It really does. And no, and I know they don't mean the show sucked before I got there and now it's amazing only because of me, and right. That's not at all what I take from that. I just take from that hey, you were an addition to the show that wasn't so bad, and and I appreciate that.
Overall, I think the show was just fine, and I was happy. At the time, I felt we did the most we could do. When Jamie came, I felt like the old thing, the sky's the limit. I feel like we have more possibilities here, and I think that's what Jamie represents, the possibility of a full experience of brains, of fun, and passion.
Obviously, I thought I loved the show beforehand, or I wouldn't have wanted to be a part of it. I never thought the show was anything less than amazing, and it was an honor for me to even get to be a part of something that I thought was so special, and ended up being very special.